Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Tone Talk with Mark Uzansky and Dave Friedman. Tonight is a part two of our most viewed video on our channel. Almost 400,000 views.
400,000
is our top video that we have with Mr. Jakey Lee. What's up, man? Welcome back.
We worked really hard on that, so.
We worked hard at what?
On that video.
Drinking?
Yeah.
In the video?
We put a lot into it.
Yeah, that was a lot of effort.
So, if for anyone that's watching, if we rehash anything that was said in that video, that's because we actually just don't remember.
Yeah, I don't.
We have no idea what was said in that video. So I know I don't. Maybe you do. No, you don't either.
I don't know what was said. Other than the stuff that got Nikki's panties and
yes.
Yeah.
Other than that,
I didn't wind up saying hi to Mick. I kind of no, I didn't.
Oh well.
Yeah, we didn't say anything about that to Mick when he was on the show. No, we kept that on the down low.
Like, maybe we shouldn't do that.
Yeah, I asked. I'm like, what do you think? Should we bring up that story? And Dave's like, nah, maybe not. So it's probably best.
Which one? I know there was basically two Motley stories.
The slant-eyed one, yes.
Yes. That probably wouldn't have gone over well.
And if you guys don't know what we're talking about, go back and watch the first show.
Yes. Yeah.
But
yeah.
Maybe we won't say it.
That
again.
one was maybe not surprisingly. There wasn't a lot of backlash about that because you know, Mick. I mean, you throw the N-word around, calling someone a Jap is no big deal. Oh God, this is getting started to a roast.
Hey, by the way, Joan says, "Man, Jake, you look great." So,
thank you,
Joan.
All right, and it's a female, so I think
you assume.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So that's a good thing. We typically don't have many of those on this show. So
Sometimes we do.
Sometimes, just some. So, Jeremy just got out of heart surgery in time to see this. Wow, man.
What?
I hope you're feeling good.
Yeah.
That's
you have a good recovery.
That's dedication, man. And yeah, I hope you have a good recovery. Be well. So, Jake, man, how's Vegas? I was just in your neck of the woods.
Hot.
Yeah, it is.
100 degrees when I left.
Yeah, I was there. It was 106 when I got there, and then maybe down to 102 when I finally left.
Yeah,
that was a few weeks ago.
We had 120 this year, our highest temp. That's it's not fun.
That's like 23 degrees higher than it should be. You know what I mean? Like,
it is not. And I know people say, "Oh, it's a dry heat."
No, it's brutal.
A burning heat. I mean, you can feel your skin sizzle when you go out in the sun. It's not fun.
What you can't stand in one place too long, or your tennis shoes will melt. Literally.
Probably. Yeah, it's brutal. So you got to have some heavy AC to make sure you get through it. Yeah, absolutely.
And a lot of money to afford it.
Yeah.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, it's expensive.
I think the AC's back here. Oh my God.
No, yeah, I can imagine. So, so tonight we're going to talk about some new products from Friedman, and we are, and then we'll just dive into questions.
We'll just go down some rabbit hole of something.
Yeah, absolutely.
You see my new guitar?
I see
the
a bunch
V?
of guitars. Oh, the V?
Yeah.
The Ibanez.
The Ibanez rock and roll
So
V.
it's a Cr&uuml.
Yeah. Well, it's a Japanese sen wood. That's what those were all made of. The Explorer.
Oh yeah.
And the V. Yeah.
Oh,
thought you'd like that.
yeah. I do like it. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll take it on my
home now.
Yeah, exactly. That took you a while to find.
I
Dave.
still have my guild. You like?
Oh yeah. You got a lot of stuff I like.
Yeah, there's a lot of good amps in there. So, Jake, are you excited about the products that we're going to talk about tonight?
Yes.
It's like school.
It's hard for I don't show excitement.
No,
very
I
well.
I know what you mean. So, well, we got a ton of questions already from people. So we can just dive in, and then you tell me, Dave.
Hey, we'll jump around. We'll just jump around. We'll answer a few, and then I don't know. That'll probably inspire some sort of rant or
exactly
from us.
Well, the first one's good. Walrus, Jake, are you hoping the Ultimate Sin gets remixed, and will Sharon allow it?
It's weird because it sounds like it sounds for what? How many years now? 30, 40, almost 40 years.
Almost 40 years, probably, yeah.
Yeah. And to change the sound would be I know.
It would be nice if there's a little less reverb on it, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not particularly hoping that it gets remixed, but I wouldn't mind. I mean, it's it's old news, so will Sharon allow it? Yeah, as long as she's in control.
Yeah,
if there's money to be made.
Right. I mean, there's always money to be made. I mean, I think it would be based on the last time I listened to the album, and it hasn't been that long, but I thought I'd like to hear more guitar from you. Raise the guitars up and lower the keyboards a little bit.
Yeah.
That was my overall feeling on the album.
I thought that about Bark at the Moon too, though.
Yeah.
Guitars were a little light there too.
Yeah, and the keyboards come in thundering.
Yeah.
I remember when I first heard it, when they mixed it, and then Ozzy and Sharon asked me over to listen to it, and I listened to it. And they said, "What do you think?" And I said, "I hate it." Keyboards are loud, guitars, they're not driving the songs anymore. They're too low. I said, I hate it. And then Ozzy said, "That's it. We need to remix it." And then Sharon said, "No, we're already way too late giving them the album. We can't remix it. We have to send this in now." And then she looked at me and said, "And just get used to it." Right? So I was like, whatever.
And that was for Bark at the Moon?
Yeah. And then later that night, I realized, not to bring this whole thing up again, I realized if they couldn't spend another couple extra days to remix, they certainly couldn't have brought another guitar player in, have him re-record all my tracks. So that was a bluff. She was bluffing when she told me that. Later that night, I realized, and I went, shit. But hey, it's what it is.
They really threatened to do that, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
She's ruthless.
She's
ruthless.
She is.
And for a couple of minutes, I was thinking, oh, man, I'm not signing. And I said, oh shit, I have to. I can't take the chance. Otherwise,
then they didn't give you the writing credit anyway.
Well, that's what I meant by signing it. I said okay. Yeah. But I don't want to belabor that whole topic.
Yeah, it just goes back to the old days of the music industry. It's just fucking the artist always for more money. It's just the way it is.
Hasn't changed.
It hasn't changed. No, it's even worse. Now they want
the artists really make no money,
and they won't sign bands because they have to pay 5 guys as opposed to let's just have an artist, one main person, and then they'll have like dancers behind them or something. And it's a fucking joke. It's
yeah. And at least as far as my last contract, there's no tour support. And in fact, they want a part of the merch. They wanted a percentage of any merch that we sold.
Yeah.
And I said no. I said fuck off. And they wanted a percentage of the publishing.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming these are two things that they do to artists. I refused to sign the contract.
Wow.
They said, come on, throw us a bone. 1% of the merch, 1% of the publishing. I said, no, 0 and 0.
Well, I think this all comes from the fact that they can't make any money on selling any physical records anymore, so they have to try to make money in some fashion off something, or they will not be around anymore. Maybe that'd be a good thing.
Yeah,
That might be a good thing. I mean,
like the way people that seem to do pretty well, like for instance, like Joe Bonamassa, who we had on the show. So he makes his own records.
right.
He has his own record label. He does everything in-house. He has a company essentially that does it all. And because of that, he makes all the booking, everything is in one house.
I think Jack White does the same thing.
And because of that, even if he doesn't sell an exorbitant amount of records or anything like that, he makes money off the, you know, everything's monetized to some extent, you know, and you can make money. And if you do it that way, you're not giving anyone all those cuts. So yeah, it makes sense. You can employ people and it's way cheaper than giving the cut.
Yeah.
You know,
that's a smart way to do it. If you can afford it, you'd need,
you need some money to start that. Yes. You need that to do that. But even an independent guy like my friend Sammy Bowler, you know, he released some records by him, you know, with a label, but also some stuff on his own. Somehow he was able to release vinyl on his own. And like the vinyl, he actually sold a lot of. He goes, you know, I got to say, did pretty well off the vinyl. You know, like there's a big chunk of cash, you know, that you made off the vinyl because people
That's
like
good.
to buy that. They'll buy that. They won't buy anything else.
True.
So you make, so like if you know,
sense.
like for instance, if you were to do something new in the future, do it on vinyl and sell it, manage to sell it directly to the end user. You'll have a fan base that'll buy it, but you can also do something cool, like, you know,
8-track.
Yeah.
Just bring that back.
Real retro.
Well, cassettes are already back. This is a weird thing. Cassettes
are they?
Yeah. There's a lot of people that get into collecting cassettes now and like listening.
And vintage cassettes.
Yeah, they were horrible to begin with. I mean, you know, I had to sit there and rewind the shit. Oh,
you can't even get to a song. You got to fast forward. Okay.
At least on an album, you can just take the needle and pop it roughly where you want it to.
Yeah.
Close enough.
Yeah. Well,
true.
How we learned to play guitar. At least me.
Wrecking the vinyl.
Over and over.
Wrecking the needles in vinyl.
Yeah. And then slowing it down to 16.
Jake, did you have lessons at all, or was you mostly self-taught?
Mostly self-taught. Yeah. I did take guitar lessons from this guy at Harper's Music in Chula Vista, and for about a month, and then he said, "There's really nothing I can show you that you don't know or you're going to figure out anyway, and unless you want to play some other kind of guitar, you know, other than rock."
Right.
And, I said, no, okay, so I'm fine. But yeah, it's mostly self-taught.
And when did you pick it up?
I got a lot of shit wrong. I got my heavy-handedness comes from because I had an acoustic, but I listened to Black Sabbath, and so to get that attack and everything, I just had to really dig in. So that's one thing, and the other was I what would you call that pattern? If you're playing an E and you're on the 12th fret with your index finger, that pattern, you know, the pentatonic pattern.
Right.
And there's all these.
I don't know what to call it, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but that's where 80% of licks and solos are based around. I thought it was the 10th fret, index finger on the 10th fret, and then doing that pattern. So I'd be doing like Chuck Berry riffs by pulling up on the B string from the 10th fret. I thought it was all based around there. So it helped me play in different areas of the guitar that maybe I wouldn't have so much if I knew how to play it right.
I think that probably formed your style.
Yeah, it
formed how you because what was unique about your playing was that you had a unique style of how your chord voicings, how you went about approaching, whether you know it or not, the fretboard was different than most.
Yeah, I mean, I
can't tell you why or how. Yeah. The guy that works for me could tell you why or how, but he's not here.
But yeah, it's and I didn't realize I was doing it wrong until because there wasn't a lot of rock on TV back in the 70s, and only time you'd really ever see it was on PBS, and they had Chuck Berry on once, and I saw him doing his licks, and he was using that other pattern. I'm like, motherfucker. And I tried that. I said, well, that's a lot easier. But self-taught to answer the question.
No, that's cool. Good deal. We got another question from Jay Busk. What's going on, Jay? Hey, Jake, thanks for all that you've contributed musically. You are my favorite guitarist next to Mick Mars and EVH. As sacrilegious as it may sound to some, I prefer your work, even on some of the songs Randy originally did.
Oh, well, I would agree with that.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, the live stuff that you guys did, you know, of the Randy songs were fantastic. You know,
I tried my best.
Yeah,
well, you did better than probably tried your best.
Yeah, you did great. You did great.
Well, the interesting thing I always find that interesting when you think about it, you know, you came into a terrible situation. You know, you walked into a beloved guy that just died, and the fans were rabid for him. Yeah. But you walked into it, and you know, okay, there was a little time. The Brad Gillis had a little section there, you know, that kind of maybe a little buffer.
He buffered it a little
bit, or Bernie Torme, right? Wasn't he there for a second too, like a few gigs,
just a couple.
And
then there was George.
But he never got there.
Right. He just did sound checks, I heard. Yeah.
But you pretty quickly you were pretty much, at least I remember it as accepted.
Huh. I didn't feel that way.
Maybe not at the time, but I don't know. I mean, I remember when Randy died. I remember when you came in, and I don't know.
It's not like people had a choice. It's not like Randy left and people were, you know, like,
right. You didn't have a choice.
Right. So people were like, okay, we got, you know, let's see how this guy does. And I mean, I was that age. I remember I was like, fuck, this guy's awesome.
Pretty much after the US Festival, it seemed like you were pretty well accepted.
Okay.
See, you got a lot of grief.
That's not your perspective. No, your perspective was
there was always people in the front rows with Randy rules, you suck.
Oh, really?
Every gig, there'd be somebody with a sign like that. And
did they go away eventually?
Yeah. I think maybe the Ultimate Sin tour. I didn't really see that as much, but Bark in the Moon tour, there was still a lot of that. and in the beginning, I didn't know that you're supposed to check into a hotel under assumed name. So I just check in with my real name. I used to get phone calls at the hotel with, I'm better than you. You suck. Listen to me. And I played guitar over the phone. And
oh my God, that's great.
So that's when I said, oh, that's why you use an assumed me. One guy was playing Sales of Karen by Uli, right?
Yeah.
Guys know that. He was playing that. And I'm like, yeah, that's Uli. Uli, if you want the gig, you can have it because you are awesome. But it's some guy playing another guitar player's shit trying to tell me how much better he was than me. So, yeah, I didn't feel like I was
that accepted yet.
No.
Maybe I was just in maybe I accepted it quickly. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe it was because. So when did the Bark of the Moon come out?
83.
It could be because I kind of slightly missed the Randy part. I mean, yes, I was listening to it, but I was pretty young, you know. So my first concert would be 81 or something. So within a short span of time, The Who.
Yeah.
Really? First concert, yeah.
In 81, so
Eminence Front tour.
Okay.
When they all got cleaned up and
yeah.
Not so crazy.
I never got to see them.
It was great.
I never got to see them with Keith Moon. I mean,
well, yeah, I wish I would have seen that, but I like the Who. I'm a fan of the Who. So
my first concert was it 69? It might have been 70. I think it was 70. Grand Funk Railroad. And
Mark Farmer.
He almost came on the show.
Yeah.
They reached out to us to have him on, but it was
interesting.
Yeah, it would have been.
We have some interesting.
I don't think it would have been the
political views.
It wouldn't have gone down the gear road. Let's just say we wouldn't be talking about gear. And
I always thought he was underrated as a guitar player.
Oh yeah,
I thought his guitar playing was great.
Yeah,
but people like to shit on him. So,
well,
let me think of who else. I made a list the other day of unsung. Randy Bachman. I don't think he's appreciated as enough.
Yeah.
I mean, his fuzz soloing. Melodic and off kilter, and Randy California. I mean, there are other Randys that play guitar that were great.
That were good too. Yes,
Randy California solo on Mechanical World or Dark Eyed Woman.
Where's he from? I'm sorry.
Spirit. He was in the band.
Oh,
Spirit.
okay.
Yeah. But Dark Eyed Woman. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I mean,
did I answer some kind of question there somewhere?
Yeah, you answered the question. Yeah. We would, we were just talking. We were just shooting the shit off of something else. But let's see. Good. Jay Busk, is it true you toured with a Jose modded Marshall in the 80s? Did you ever record with one? I love the tone you had at the US Fest. Was that the Furman PQ3 and the JCM 800 combo?
No. Yes. I loved it. I had a Jose modded Marshall that I took with me to England, and that's what I recorded Bark at the Moon with. That was really cool when I
through EVs, right?
Through EVs, because I got to try every kind of speaker. Ozzy said, whatever you need, whatever you want to try out for your sound, you got. So I took full advantage. I had them go out and get greenbacks, 25 and 20s, Altex, JBs,
JBL.
Yeah. Every kind of speaker. And the EVs just really rang. They were it for me. But I also got to try every tube. I said, okay, give me some Mullers, give me some Amprex, give me some, wasn't it a Bugle? Was it
Bugle Boy? Yeah.
I was afraid to say boy because it sounded weird, but
yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And I had them get the preamps and the power tubes, and so I swap them out, and I got to try everything.
And you got
Mullards were the best power,
and
I thought Amprex was the best preamps.
Amprex is good preamps, yeah.
So
that's good.
But yeah, because of that, it's like every gear.
And that was in the Jose Marshall.
Yeah. Every gearhead's dream is just like everything.
Was that mostly just the guitar straight into that Marshall into the cab?
Yeah. I might have.
Do you have any boost pedals or anything, or?
I don't think I did for that record. No, I think it was just straight in because I wanted to really
pure.
I felt like purist.
Guitar,
my guitar, my amp, straight in. I felt like that's the way a guitar player should be. And I don't necessarily agree with that anymore. I was listening to Frank Marino the other day, and he's not a straight in guitar player, but he got a great tone.
I think fundamentally that's the right idea, but you then can augment different overdubs and different things with different sounds. It's like it's not all one thing.
I do feel like the distortion should come from the amp. You shouldn't.
I agree.
Have a pedal that provides that for you.
Maybe pushing it a little bit.
When I did use, I think maybe for Ultimate Sin, I did use the OD one. I think it was called
the original Boss OD one,
and that would be. And I cranked the volume, turned the distortion all the way down.
So you
I have one.
Yeah,
still.
Because it also
that's a good sounding pedal, man.
It kind of takes some of the really top end out and some of the really low end.
Oh,
out.
it takes a lot
so
of low end out.
Focuses on the mid range.
Yeah,
and
tightens it right up. It takes.
I think I used that for Ultimate Sin and maybe the Badlands too.
Into what amp for that?
The Jose, I think, only was on the Bark at the Moon album, Ultimate Sin, and all the Badlands. I had 2 other 100-watt Marshalls,
stock,
a Plexi, and the metal faced, aluminum faced one. And I used, they were stock.
Yeah,
Crank. I used them. Crank.
I know you crank.
Yeah. I double. If I doubled, I'd use a Plexi on one side and
there's a clip. There's a clip that Mike Tempesta sent me of when you first tried out the Friedman 100-watt at the Whiskey. That I first brought it down, and there's a clip at soundcheck.
Yeah,
and it's glorious sounding. I'll have to play it for you. Pete Thorne was here. He saw it the other day. He's like, "See, that's a guitar sound." It's like fucking loud, and you can tell it's loud in the clip.
Right.
You know, because you can tell it's filling the room.
I feel like it's got to be loud. I feel like that art is getting lost.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it's gone.
A lot of modern guitar players, really low volume, and it's just not the same. It's not the same. It's not the same when you don't feel it, when it's not blowing your hair back, and the whole feedback thing. I mean, you know, you hold a note, and then you move this way, and it changes pitch,
and that makes it dangerous.
Yeah, and that you have to mute strings is something you have to learn when you're playing loud.
Yeah, volume knob muting. Volume knob
always muting with. If I'm hitting like down here, I'm muting with these fingers, the top ones, and then if I'm hitting up here, I'm muting with my palm across the other, so it doesn't just feed back all over the place. And that's definitely a
lost art. People that don't know how to do that anymore. I saw that with there was one guitar tech for a minute that came out and did. I'm not sure why. Steve Stevens had this one younger guy come out and do something for him a long time ago. Steve always played loud, really loud, and you know, the guy'd pull up the guitar and it's like, you know, it's like, I'm like, oh, what are you doing? Stop. It's just like, use your volume knob. You just like roll it back, feel how it. I could go up there and put the guitar and just go, it's fine.
Just control it.
Why is it feeding back for you? I don't understand. But I grew up with amps that were loud like that. And like, you know, I always think it's really good, would be really good for a guitar player to have one amp, not a really gainy amp. Here, you got a cabinet and a head. We're going to lock you in this room, and you got a guitar. And all your job is to figure out how to play this and use your volume knob on your guitar and use your pickups and use how to get all the different tones out of it, because you actually have like a 50-channel amp there. You just don't know it. You know, because all the little nuances of it all. Yeah,
all that. I was watching Santana, the Soul Sacrifice at Woodstock. And he's constantly going back and forth with his
volume knob, a little bit up, a little bit there. And some certain players use tone knobs too in certain ways. And I don't really use a tone knob. I don't like it. I don't like it.
But I miss that dark tone like George Harrison.
Yeah.
You know, I always want to try to use that tone somewhere.
You just can't figure it out.
It never fits anywhere for me. But yes, loud guitar playing. And just the excitement when you're playing that loud and it's not controlled. Like if you were playing at a low volume but with distortion, it's like you're in the belly of the beast. You're riding a dragon. It's just exciting.
Well, that's what a concert's all about, right? You go to the concert, you feel it. Right, exactly. You're supposed to feel it. You're supposed to experience it. It's supposed to kind of be like taking over you in a way, and you go there now, and it's just like this controlled experience. It's like volume low, and I let everybody talk. I mean, it's.
I've talked about this before, like PAs and stuff. Even though they have all this technology now, I think it all sounds like shit. I mean, I really do. Sorry, and when all these sound guys are saying, "Turn down, I'll be able to get you a better sound out front." Yeah. Well, I've never heard that happen, ever. I've never heard that ever happen. Yeah. But we talked about, I went to the Hollywood Bowl, right? And I saw Guns N' Roses, right? But Black Keys opened up. They were amazing.
Yeah.
It sounded incredible. And they had amps on stage, and you heard the fuzz tones, and you heard the spring reverb and the crashy stuff, and you're just like, that's awesome. You could hear all of it. And he sang great. And
was it just the two of them?
No, the extended band.
Okay.
So they had those two guys, and then they had another guitar player and a bass player and a keyboard player. But they were kind of in the background, almost like background singers, But I would go back and see the Black Keys in an instant because it was so good. And then Guns N' Roses came out. Same PA, same everything. It was just terrible.
Huh.
The sound was terrible.
It's like an ampless stage, right?
Yeah, no, yeah. They use real amps, but they're off. The cabinets are off stage, and yeah, I couldn't. There's a difference in the sound guy too. So now it's interesting because during the show, you're listening, and all of a sudden the guitar part would pop out of one of the songs. Oh, I don't know, 20 dB louder than everything. and you literally are sitting there going, okay, what the fuck happened? What happened there? And the interesting thing is that that sound guy that night for them was Dave Natel. Dave Natel is an all analog kind of guy, and he mixes the Stones normally. Well, the funny thing is, Pete Thorne said he saw the Stones recently, and he had the exact same experience of things popping out of nowhere, like at a way huge volume, and like drums not being loud enough, and like all this like whacked out stuff. And he's like, I go, that's exactly what I heard at the Guns N' Roses thing. So it's a Dave Natel thing, whatever that means. Huh. I mean, I'm not bagging on him necessarily, but I'm just saying, I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe you need to be loud to keep the sound man honest. Keep him on make him work.
Maybe,
Yeah.
We had another sound guy friend of ours on the show before, Tom Abraham. He mixed Marilyn Manson, Garbage, mixed Keith Urban, mixed all sorts of people. Amazing. Alice in Chains. Amazing mixer. You went to one of his shows and you see it and you're just like, well, that just sounds fucking great.
Well, he sent us one of the soundboard recordings, and it was fucking amazing.
I have a soundboard recording of Alice in Chains, and you listen to the soundboard recording, and you're like, that sounds incredible.
Yeah, it was just it sounded like an album.
But he was saying, he goes, in the old days, it was like box PAs. You had a few pieces of outboard gear, analog console, right? Meaning like you had an SPX 90 and a Rev 7 or some bullshit, and you just pulled up the faders and it sounded great. Now I got to put 7 plugins on in order to even make it remotely sound close to what it used to sound like with just a console.
Huh.
Interesting.
That bugs me.
I only answered what the first part of that question was. At the S Festival, it was 800s, EVs. EVs I used throughout my whole career until Red Dragon. 800s. There was not the Furman, but there was a Lexicon
PCM 41?
41.
Was it like split? So like the one side was a little delayed?
2 amps, yeah.
Right in the front,
one
right?
Was split. Yeah. I remember I'd use 13 millisecond delay. Unless it was a slow song, then I'd go to 26. Yeah. And just a slight modulation.
But there was a Furman in that rack.
Oh, was there?
PQ3.
I remember having one of those. I don't know that I ever used it.
Were you using a pedal with the super overdrive. I'm not.
I think I would have had the OD1, yeah.
Boosting that.
I would have had a couple, like a flange pedal, the OD.
But the OD1, but the 800 was probably cranked.
Oh well, yeah.
So this is a very interesting thing
I'm unaware of.
No, apparently not. This is what a lot of people don't understand. So an 800 is a totally different beast if you actually crank it and then pull the gain back to like 6, but then it's a crank power section. It then becomes kind of like a plexi with a smidge more gain. You know, it reacts totally different. And Warren's amp was the same architecture. His plexi that he has was an 800 front end, but he cranks it. It's the same concept.
What happened to the Jose though that you had?
Oh, sold it. Sold it in the 90s when I wasn't very popular. I'm not even gonna say how much for. And I've tried to look for it since then. It had grease pen markings for Bark at the Moon, and there'd be a BM, and then RRR for Rock and Roll Rebel. It had all the markings.
Oh wow!
Where I had it set, so it really would have been a cool thing. I don't even know if the guy I sold it to gave a shit about that. He probably wiped it all off. I mean, I had kept it on there for like 10 years. Wow. Yeah, who knows where it is?
Where that is. I might have serviced it. Who knows?
How did you get it?
Just before I went to record, because all I had before that was a white Marshall. I guess same kind that Randy had, with the master volume.
Like a JMP kind of era. It's basically an 800 circuit if it had master volume.
It had a master volume and the rectangular on-off switches.
Yeah, kind of like that Fawn amp.
Oh, yeah. But I think it was a later version than that. Maybe. Man. You know I like Fawn.
I know.
Did you get that for me too? Along with the
to get it for you?
With the V and that? God, you're French.
That was an interesting purchase. I was in New York not that long ago, like a year ago. And Dina and my daughter, because my daughter was living in New York, and my son went to this play, and I wasn't going. It was some off-Broadway play thing. I wasn't going. It's like, but I walked there. Everywhere in New York, you walk 10,000 miles. And I walked there and like, okay, well, I'm looking down the street. I'm like, I see something that says bar. I'm like, I'm going to be, I think there, but text me when you're out. I'll let you know if that's the place I wind up. And I went down the street and I walk in this beautiful Irish bar. It was great.
Did you get in a fight?
No, but there was a lot of Irish people in there. So that's how I knew it was great. And it had a Scottish bartender.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So I started drinking a Guinness and a Lagavulin, which actually go really well together.
Yeah. I don't think I tried that combo, but it sounds good.
A smoky, like a dark Guinness like beer with a smoky Scotch.
Yeah, that sounds good.
That's a good mix. Even if it's Lefroy or something, but Lagavulin's better than Lefroy, stuff like that.
Cooley is the best.
So we're there for like almost 2 hours waiting for them. And just I'm looking at my phone.
Looking
at the phone and what comes up in front of my face, that amp and like a Guitar Center ad or something. And I'm like, look at that. That's cool. I kind of need like a JMP kind of master volume amp just as a reference point. Like, that's pretty cool. Yeah, it's kind of expensive. I don't know. So we drink some more. You drink some more, and finally it's like, fuck it. Click.
It was nagging you.
Click. I clicked on it, and
what year is it, Dave?
That one's a 77. Early JMP. It's even got mustard. It's even got mustard caps all through
it. It's 100 watt.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine was probably more like an 81. I remember the jacks were all plastic.
Yes, that. So this was the 77 has mustard caps like the old amps did, and then it had those jacks, and then later they transitioned to different caps and different. It's the same amp though. It's the same amp.
Anyway, yeah, I had one of those.
But
and I didn't particularly like it that much.
Right.
Not if I was going to be Ozzy.
Yeah,
it wasn't something that I was in love with.
Crank it or boost it, or
so I went out and I found a Marshall. It was had the aluminum front on it. And then took it to Jose, and he did whatever he does to it. And he was a fun guy to hang around.
He was, wasn't he?
Yeah. Yeah. I wish he was still around.
He was. I got the pleasure to have an amp done maybe in 1988 by him, and now I've actually no, maybe I won't talk about that yet.
You kind of talked about it before, but
did I?
Yeah, a little bit, but
I've been in contact with his daughter, who's still alive. And we might do some things like official licensed products, or something.
Which would be amazing.
Which I mean, and the family gets something, so it's like kind of cool, give back.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, his name still floats out there,
Yeah,
he was way, 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 way ahead of his time.
Absolutely.
The amps that he was making in this was early 80s, the mods he was doing and stuff were what was to become. You know what I mean? Like what was to become. And they still hold up today. I have one right there. That's below that amp.
Yeah. He I mean, awesome sounding.
Now they just go for a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
I imagine, yeah. But
like
what? Like 25K or something.
For to show you any Van Halen porn.
Did he?
Yeah.
Wait, no, I didn't get that one, but he did. He did show me a whole bunch of other crap. Van Halen porn, really?
He asked me if I wanted to watch it, and I said no. Eddie Van Halen's like a guitar hero. I don't want to see him doing shit.
Wait.
And he said, mostly what's interesting is Dave is like that, and Alex is like that. I said, okay, I'll just take your word for it. I really don't.
Oh, man.
I wonder where it is.
That's a good story. I wonder.
You should ask his daughter.
I don't know if she's. Oh, man.
Look at his archives and see if you can.
Wow.
Oh wow! Is that from like a tour? Like they were just getting crazy and someone videoed it?
Yeah, I didn't ask too much about it. I was too shocked.
Wow, that's a good one.
That's a good story. Yeah,
I like awesome.
It. We got a ton of super chats and over 744 people watching right now. Everybody who's watching right now, please hit the thumbs up. Subscribe, okay? If you're not subscribed, make sure you hit the subscribe button, please. Walrus, what's going on? I noticed that both you and Randy had more scoop sound on your second albums. Was that intentional?
Oh, on his and on mine?
Yeah.
Like Diary and Ultimate, I guess is what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's true, actually. I thought Randy's sound, especially on Diary, was more rounded and had more mid-range in it than the first one sounded scooped to me. The first Randy Ozzy album.
Yeah,
definitely wider.
See, now I got to go back and listen to this.
But I know as far as I'm concerned, no, it wouldn't have been intentional, and I never scooped. I liked the mid range. I'd always crank.
Using old Marshalls than that, it's got to be cranked.
Yeah, it's so no.
James Young, thanks for the super chat. Don't see a question, but if I find it,
I just say $2 next to his name.
They're giving us super chat, so that means that they're donating.
The question asked. Otherwise, honestly, it's a free for all in here. It's like,
well, if there's 470.
I mean, it's like this is all. I mean, I'm sorry, people. I wish we could answer everyone's.
Wow,
I mean, I'm going back to the top.
A lot.
Yeah, there's a lot,
and I wish we could answer everyone's questions, but it just is not. It's not physically possible.
No, it wouldn't be impossible. I mean, we've got over 33 super chats. So, Jimmy Page, man, Jimmy is in the house. You know,
and he's a cat.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Thanks for all the great music, Jake.
Cat.
Oh, he's a cute cat.
What's the song you're most proud of from The Ultimate Sin? And would you ever consider doing another instrumental album like A Fine Pink Mist? I love the song.
Did you listen
Rapture?
to it? You haven't listened to it.
I tried.
You haven't even.
I don't have a thing to fucking put it in the computer. I literally do not have anything that I can play it on.
I gave him. I had 2 copies of A Fine.
But you know what? I'm going to do it before I see you tomorrow night.
I gave him one. What, a year ago?
Yes.
He still hasn't listened to it.
That's because I don't have a CD player and I don't have any computer that has a CD thing on it.
It's funny. I don't have a CD player anywhere either. Like if I actually, you know, Michael Nielsen, he just came out with an album. I bought it.
Oh, did his album come out?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know.
Yeah, we need to have him on to talk about it. Well, we need to have him on.
That's really poor marketing if we didn't know, Michael.
Yeah, guys, Michael Nielsen. If you haven't checked out his album, really, it's an instrumental album too, really good. But I have
back to me.
Yes.
Back to answering the question. First off, I would say "Killer of Giants" is probably one of the songs that I'm most proud of. Period. That I wrote. For one reason, because it's almost orchestral in the way it's presented. I do the guitar intro, which I'll repeat something, but then I never come back to it. I go to another place, go to another place, go another place, and then there's the classical part with Ozzy, which is a new place. Mm-hmm. And then it goes to the first verse of Killer of Giants. Then it goes to the chorus. So it isn't until after the second chorus that it ever repeats itself. From those first, 4 maybe minutes, it's just constantly shifting and moving to another place. And I really had a lot of fun doing that. And it's a great song. It's a good song. So yeah, I would say Killer of Giants. Would you ever instrumental album? Maybe. I think A Fine Pink Mist is a really good album. Been overlooked because it never got released in the States. Sold well in Japan. And that's
you have rights to it now?
Shout out to Varney because he was going to release it in the States, but he didn't like the song title Bloodfuck. What? Why not? What's wrong with that? And I remember his reasoning was, how would I tell my 12-year-old daughter what that song's about?
Well, your 12-year-old daughter is not going to be listening to this.
No, I said, do you have a daughter? No. I said, okay. Yeah, 12-year-old girls aren't going to be listening to this. And if you actually listen to the one part in the song where I kind of do a speaking part, it's about vengeance. It's about getting back. It's fucking somebody up. It's nothing nasty. Not the violence is should be held to a higher level than sex, but and he wanted me to change it, and I said I wouldn't, and so it never got released in the States. Thanks a lot, Mike.
Yeah, great. It's actually available though on YouTube. You can hear it on YouTube.
Oh, I can.
You can hear anything on YouTube.
Yeah, it's available. I just the album's available on YouTube. So
maybe it should be re-released on vinyl.
Let's see. It was Pony Canyon that had it.
Do you still have the rights to it?
Or do you have the
masters?
masters?
No, I don't have any of that.
You might have the rights to it now because it's like, is anyone around still that cares?
Probably not. I guess I could look into it. I mean, because I would like it to be out there. I think
you could put it back really out there, and I think people
really
would.
Good and it's a different for being a guitar instrumental album. It's very different than what most guitarists have put out. For it's very song melodic oriented. It's not shreddy. Although there are parts. Anyway, the next $2, huh?
When you recorded that album, where did you record it, and did you like pull together a band for it, or how was?
Oh no, it's all me. It was because I wanted to experience not having to argue with anybody.
Were you here, or had you moved already? I don't know when you moved.
Here in LA.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in LA. I recorded it at what's his name? Greg, I think. A drummer from White Lion. He had a studio, and I recorded it there. I did all the bass parts. I did all the drum parts were from a SR16. Is that what
Lisa's thing?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, really?
Yeah. And I worked really, really hard.
Try to get it right. Try to get it cool.
I mean, have the snare just a little behind to give it that kind of swing to it. The hi-hat would be varying levels. I mean, I worked really hard to make it sound somewhat like real drums, and so I was really proud of that. And in fact, I remember there was a review in Japan of the album, and this guy called me for an interview. And he said, "Oh, I love the album. And that drummer is fantastic. You have to tell me who he was." And I said, "Well, it's me. You play drums?" And I said, "No, I used the drum machine." He said, "That's not a drum machine." I said, "Yeah, I use a drum machine." Then he reviewed.
Now I really.
He reviewed the record and said, "Would have been okay if he used a real drummer."
Oh, fuck her.
I know, what an asshole. He loved the drummer until he found out he wasn't flesh and blood.
Oh, are you serious? Amazing.
That's not good.
Unbelievable.
Anyway, I was at Greg. I think his name was Greg, the drummer from White Lion. Did it at his studio. I did all the bass, guitars. I don't think there was any keyboards on it, and the drum programming, and what little vocals there are. And it's not singing vocals. I did those too.
Cool.
You know what? Actually, before we jump into that one, Jake, you're a big inspiration to me. This is Anthony. Can you talk a little about A Fine Pink Mist, which we just did? I think it's one of the greatest guitar albums ever recorded. Thanks.
So now he isn't making me feel guilty now. I got to figure out how to do this. I'm going to figure it out tomorrow.
It's a cool album.
No, I'm going to like it. I'm sure.
The first song's kind of industrial-ish sounding. It's very heavy, very hard. And then the next one, I think, was Demon a Go-Go, which was somebody. I think at one time I said, it'd be really cool if somebody did a spaghetti western surf song. And the guy said, write one. And so that was my attempt at spaghetti western surf. And I think that's a really cool song. And then I did a really cool version of something fingers. What was it called? It was an instrumental from the 60s. Whatever. I do really like that record, and I wish it was a little better known or more people had heard it. You know, I think a lot of people would like it.
Well, hopefully, maybe you'll get a chance to.
Dave,
months or years for a naked.
Oh, it could be months, could be years. How's that for a non-committal answer?
It depends.
What are you talking about? Okay. All right.
It's an amp I used to make a long time ago that I might make some more of again, but I've been procrastinating on getting that done.
You got more important shit to do. Yeah, Jakey Lee 50 watt and the Jakey Lee, what do you call those things?
IRJ. Okay, well, we went there.
Okay.
IRJ.
Dual tube So yeah, I've tried to explain it to people. It's like a
it's okay.
It's a
It's like
preamp.
your okay. The 100-watt amp that we did. It's got the first channel of the 100-watt amp and the second channel 100-watt amp. Same way we did it for that. It has the ability to get the 800-y kind of sound where you'd have to crank it to get your thing on the lead, or the higher gain like on your JL20, and the other channel is like a plexi, basically. Something like this isn't going to work exactly like a vintage amp cranked to 10, but it's JL20. So what's interesting about this is there is dynamic power amp simulation in it. So when you do crank up the master volume, it distorts and compresses like an amp does.
Power amp.
Yes. And you can go direct with this. You can go into a mic pre with it, and it has cab impulse responses for the cab simulation, which are captured off real cabs. So now I worked with this company Ownhammer, Kevin at Ownhammer, on new cab emulations for this box, which also got released with our new software to all the other pedals also. So I have actually a list of what those cabinets were, and you'll like them because they're cool. Cool cabs.
Can you see this, Dave, by the way? Can you see the picture?
Yes.
I see it.
Okay.
So before I get to those cabs, though, because I have to actually find my list here. Where?
I will say I've never tried one of these in a live situation like on stage. But George Pahone, our good buddy.
Yeah. He has some IRX units. The first thing I came out
the
with.
last gig he did in Vegas, he used that, and it sounded exactly the same as because I see him every time he plays with a Cairo knife fight in Vegas, and he sounded exactly the same.
That's the point. So why everyone likes these boxes is because, one, it's not some computer. It's got knobs, gain, bass, mid, treble, volume.
Tactile.
Oh, okay, there. Yeah, that's a sound. Great, done. Right. And why everyone loves it is like within 3 minutes, you have a sound. You're not sitting there. Most people that use stuff that you would never use, like a modeler or something like that, like a Kemper or something, or an Axe Effects or all these things, will sit there and, oh, okay, that's pretty good. Okay, that's pretty good. Let me see if I can dial it closer. And like an hour or 2 hours later, they're still sitting there tweaking it,
and it
closer.
has a screen, right?
And it has a screen, and you're like got pages, and the thing that's really rang true for everyone that bought one of these units has been, in this situation, I have to go direct. Okay, I can do this quickly, easily, and with pedals I already have and things that I already know and I like, and I can just add this to it. Bam, done. And it's within 3 minutes you get a sound. So,
like I said, George sounded the same.
But what we did a little different with this one than the other ones was, so on the other units we have just a flat, like a boost circuit that's just kind of a clean boost circuit that boosts more gain into the amp, like a micro amp would, or something, like something you'd boost something with. But on this one, we actually, and no one knows this yet, I don't think, on the side, actually, of the unit it's 2 tube screamers. So, and here's the reason why. And it's with the gain off. So you got a volume and a tone knob, just like you would if you were boosting an amp with the Boss pedal you talked about, or a tube screamer or something. But I thought about it, and because you have like an 800 mode on this pedal, so many people over the years have boosted their 800s with a tube screamer.
Yeah.
And because it rolls off the low end, gives a little mid-range bite. And because of that, so even if you don't want the higher gain sound, you can dial in a normal 800 sound, boost it with a tube screamer, and you might be in normal, territory of what you like, or it's a sound. It's a sound. It sounds cool. So these are fun.
Yeah.
So as far as the IRs go, that we did, the cabinets that we did and the speakers that were done. So all these were done with captured with API mic pre's, 421, 57 combos. So the classic, the classic combo that most people had recorded stuff with. And so like so it was all in a Friedman cabinet, but the speakers were swapped out. So the first were some, there's kind of a greenback that existed in the 90s that was a really good reissue greenback, and they call it a 6402 cone. So that was the cone. It was slightly different cone material. Sounds great. I have it in my cabinet over here. You've played through that cabinet before. So that's one of them. It's a BE 412 with a 6402 16 ohm cabinet, captured with a 57 Sennheiser 421, a vintage one from the 70s, and they sound different. And an API 312 mic preamp, right? So all those were captured with all the same mics. And the other one was some old 75 hertz blackback Celestians from the late 70s. That was one of the cabs. There's EV12L, because we had to put the EV12L in here because of what you recorded with, So we have an EV12L 4x12 loaded cabinet. And then we also have another older English 25 watt greenback, a vintage one, the 1777 cone, which was a cool vintage greenback. And then we also have the best of the best vintage 30 cab too. So we added all those cabs to this from Kevin and Ownhammer, and they sound amazing. The blackback one sounds really amazing.
This is the best of the vintage 30. Still sound like shit. I hate vintage 30s.
I think this one sounds good.
I hate vintage 30s.
But you know what? There's so many people that do like it. Okay, I get it.
I think blended with a greenback, it sounds good.
I get it.
Maybe. I'd love to do that someday. Just
the blend works well.
Different speakers and
the blend works pretty well. And sometimes the vintage 30 recorded is a little bit nicer than sitting in front of it.
They always sounded harsh to me.
Yeah, I could see that. Sure.
They do.
Well, this is why I offered a wide variety for a bunch of people. You got your EV flavor, you got a blackback flavor, you got a vintage greenback flavor, you have a mid 90s reissue greenback flavor, and you have your vintage 30 flavor.
That's a lot of flavors.
And then there's many others that we already had. So pick your poison.
What about the cream?
When are they going to be available, Dave?
So this is October 15th.
Oh, wow.
October 15th is the launch day. So next week.
In a week.
That is happening. So
okay.
And so I mean, we kind of already showed a picture of that from Guitar Summit, I think, on our social media. So it's a pretty cool box, man. I gotta say.
Yeah, it looks great, and I'm sure it's going to sound killer.
And it's red.
Yeah,
we've gone a long way with red. To stop some people.
That'll piss some people off. I only get stuff in black. Jeez.
I've gotten that.
Yeah.
And we've made amps for people in black, so that's okay. It's fine. Or orange.
I got something peeking right here.
I like orange.
Dave, do you want to talk about the?
You can't get Fawn Tolex. Yeah. I wish.
Say what?
I'd make you an amp in Fawn Tolex if that was the case. Oh, so then this has been talked about before. So we have the JEL 50. This is kind of like a throwback to the original small box that you first heard.
That I fell in love with.
You're like, oh fuck. I'm taking this with me. At the last minute, you get it and try it.
At rehearsals. I wish I had it for the album.
Yeah, and so this would be the same as the small box, except the lead channels are the sounds that we later fixed in the 100-watt amp. But the same idea. So you have 2 gains, 2 masters, EQ. You have a presence and a little thump knob in the back because it, had to put the logo on there. So had to leave room for the logo.
Gotta have.
But it's basically sort of the similar idea where it all started from, and very similar to the 20-watt amp that's available now, and but more power because you asked for more power because we did a limited run of the 100s. We ran out, and then everyone was still like, but yeah, but it's a limited run. Too bad. Everyone's going to be pissed at us if we make another one because they thought they were getting limited signed runs.
We all signed contracts.
Yeah,
that said we'd never do it again, just like Motley Crue.
Well, and following in that,
it always comes back to Motley Crue.
When we had Mick on, I did have to say I congratulated him on his record because his record's really good.
Is it? I haven't heard.
If you ever heard, it's a super heavy, really catchy, hooky, modern rock record. Tuned to D, kind of heavy. Mick Mars style heavy, and really well done. Particularly well done for the genre of music it's in. It's kind of in a modern rock vein. Particularly well done, but it kicks the living shit out of anything recent from, and with all the legal drama that he was going through, we were just like, congratulations on coming out with a record that actually wound up selling pretty well and was such an ass kicker. And it was kind of like I said to him, I go, it was kind of like, well, oh, okay, this is the way it's going to be. Well, fuck you.
And it's probably more along the lines of what people would want Motley Crue to be doing.
I absolutely think so. And it told me a lot about the dynamic. It told me a lot. And
he was an important part of Motley Crue.
I think Motley Crue does not sound like Motley Crue without Mick. Just like Motley Crue did not sound like Motley Crue without Tommy. There was a short time when Tommy had left, and it was like Randy Castillo for a while, and then Samantha. Samantha was better than Randy.
Yeah,
when you saw those footage, she was pretty decent, but still, there's something. When you go see a band, it's just like something's missing.
Yeah, it's
not quite
the magic of the combination.
Yeah. And
I guess you could say the same about Corabi, who's a much better singer than Vince.
Oh, Corabi's a great singer.
That album, it didn't feel like Motley Crue, really.
Correct. So
it was a good album.
I don't know. It's a rough job to make new Motley Crue music now. I think. I mean, it's like, how do you do this? They
would need Mick to do that.
I think so.
Yeah. He got fucked.
Yeah, he kind of got fucked.
And I have there's no love lost with me and Mick, but he got fucked.
He got fucked. And
hopefully he'll win.
I think I wish him well. I mean, like, his record's good. Yeah. His engineer he's got is amazing.
I need to give it a listen.
Yeah. Okay. What's next?
Okay. Sorry, I was just trying to take care of some stuff here. We got tons of super chats here.
Do you have any haters that we had to kick out or anything?
No.
Oh, good.
No haters.
We're doing good.
I can deal with haters.
Yeah, I just wanted to.
I got a mouth on me.
I know you'll attack them. I know. Hey Jake, do you still own the original Charvel Fender Whitey Strat? And if so, what's its current condition?
It's fucked up. I mean, I beat the shit out of that guitar, and it didn't age well. And I remember telling Charvel when they wanted to make it. I said the neck was so narrow. It got shaved down somehow. It was so narrow you couldn't play a D chord, an open D chord, because the fingers. It was so narrow. It was nobody could play that guitar except me. It's fucked up.
But you still have it though.
Yes.
Okay.
I haven't seen it for a while. It's off in storage. I don't bring it out to play or anything.
Gotcha. We talked about that one. Okay. Jay Busk, Dave is my 7450 watt super lead in the room. I'm super stoked to get it back and appreciate you working on it.
That's one of the MC games.
It should be in the room around it should be down the hallway here. Is that the one that came from?
That was $5. He paid $5.
Is that the one? I know. Is that the one from that came from South Africa?
Oh wow.
I think he bought it from someone in South Africa and then got shipped here. I think that's. I have a lot of amps around here, so forgive me if I'm like. For some reason, I just looked this up the other day because I was looking at the amp and I need to get it done. Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of things around here that need to get done.
You got a lot of stuff going on. Steve Malt, Jake, when you guys were putting together your OG Jakey Lee 100. What were you looking for in an amp? What were you hoping for when you were not getting out of the previous setups? I loving my Gel 20 A++.
I like my 22. It's what I have set up in my living room, and
it's a great amp. I have one also.
I think it wasn't until a year ago or so that you told me the knob pulls out and I can get more.
There's more gain.
I was like, no, my knob doesn't burn. I went home and oh shit. It does, and yeah, that's
probably at lower volumes at home. That'd probably be preferred.
That's a lot of fun. Yeah,
I just like when I showed you the 100-watt here originally with the higher gain because I know on stage you were cranking it, but I showed you you played it in here and it's the higher gain mode and it's like, oh, that sounds pretty good loud low.
Yeah, but the OGJEL,
It started with a small box.
I sold all my stuff like in the 90s and early 2000s because I wasn't doing anything. I didn't plan on touring or recording. I was doing everything through the computer anyway. And so I sold it all. And then when I came back with a Red Dragon Cartel, I needed amps. And
first EVHs.
EVHs. Yeah. They gave me some EVHs because that's part of Charvel Fender, the whole umbrella. And to me, it was like, yeah, it's good enough. I hadn't played through an amp in a long time. And I've forgotten what it's like when play through amps and then, oh, this one's magic. I'd forgotten that. And so EVHs. Yeah, it does what it's supposed to do. And that's what I used and for the Red Dragon Cartel albums and everything, and then Tempest. Somebody had recommended your stuff, and I think maybe by then you'd gotten the CD.
I think Mike had been sending me stuff, and
and
the second CD,
and he said you should try one of Friedman's stuff. His amps are cool. I said, yeah. Whatever. And then
you didn't know yet.
You send one over. I said, all right, let's see what it sounds like. And I went, oh yeah.
Oh, I remember the old Marshall-y thing.
Yes. And this is like finally plugging into the Magic amp. I went, shit. Yes. So looking for an amp. I was looking for that Magic again. And basically, the 800 Magic and the Plexi Magic, those two amps were my favorites, Marshalls, and I just wanted the best of both. And
voila,
that's what this man gave me.
Yeah, and it's a killer amp. I used the 20 with my band, and Dave built me a pedal board to go with it. So it's a great amp, Jake.
Is the pedal board still working good and everything?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I know you wanted to tweak it, but we didn't get to that.
We never got a chance to do it. Yeah, it works fine.
That.
Yeah, one day we'll get it done.
Yeah.
When you want, so you do that like what, at gigs?
No, I just go. Now I'm just an old man, so I just get together with the guys and
jam. Like jam in a garage or something.
There's a practice studio place, like about 20 minutes from my house, and
so it's a 20. So you crank it, right?
Yeah, I mean it's up to play about 4 or 5.
I can tell 4 or 5.
Actually, that's pretty much cranked on that amp, to be honest.
I guess
it's just more distorted after that. It's just like that's pretty much full volume.
It's loud. Trust me, it's loud as fuck.
I don't know if it's loud as fuck.
No, it's first
100 watt is loud as fuck.
First off, it's a 20 until you played through a 100-watt
stack
through EVLs.
Oh,
which EVLs are so efficient and loud, much louder than Celestians.
That's just utter pain.
That's I mean, it was loud as fuck.
Yeah, pain moving the cabinet and then pain.
They are heavy. Yeah.
Oh my god, no.
And that's what Zach ended up using was.
Yeah. They made his own speaker.
I know.
You use your cabinets though,
he used
right?
my cabinets from Ozzy. Said, "Wow, I discovered these great speakers," and then got a. Now he's got his name on them.
His own wild speaker.
You know, maybe. Hey, I'm gonna.
I'll
act like a record company here. Zach, come on, give me 1%. Give me 1%.
I still wonder. I'm going to do this at some point in time. Pete Thorne and I were talking about doing an EV video, right? Because I have some old EVs, and then I have one of Zach's speaker. And we want to see how close the old EV is to the Zach speaker. Because I know the other EV that EV still makes is like a Series 2 version, and that thing does not sound like an old speaker at all. It's like not good. So I'm kind of curious.
Yeah.
So we thought we were going to do that at some point in time, which we might. It's more for fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be
interesting video.
The result of that.
How would you describe the difference in sound between like, an EV and greenbacks and
it's very different.
Yeah, it's
you almost have to get really used to it. Like it's at first you might think
more hi-fi kind of.
It's loud. It's
more efficient.
At times it can seem. This is going to sound weird. At times it can seem darker, but also brighter at the same time.
Yeah,
but different frequencies.
Whatever.
It's not like Celestian crunchy on the top end. It's not like that. And how you mic the EV is also critical. So even when Kevin from Ownhammer was sending me EV captures, right, of these mics, he sent me a bunch, mic slightly different, like moving the mic a little bit. So in the EV, like you can move the mic to a point where it gets bright and almost like a little more crunchy like the Celestian is, but it still has sort of the EV character, not so dark. Like sometimes you mic it in the normal spot and it's like it's a little on the mold over. It's a weird thing. And even if you play with in this little box, if you play with the EV sound and then like the greenback sound, if you dial in the sound with the EV for a while and play it for a while, and then you switch to the greenback or blackback or something, you're like, it's totally different. Like, but then if you listen to that for a while, that becomes then normal again, and then you switch back to the EV. It's like, wow, it's totally fucking different.
I'd say in general, Celestians more of a mid-range. That's a
crunchy sounding sort of.
EVs are just wider,
more
low end, more high end, and cleaner.
Yeah.
So the distortion you hear is not like speaker distortion as in Celestians.
It's not as spitty or something.
It's,
like
it's
a little
more
smoother.
amp distortion. And loud as fuck. Just loud as fuck.
Do you have an IR, Dave, for that?
Yeah, we in the new box there's an IR, and on all the new software.
It's loud as fuck.
Loud as fuck. Yeah. And all the newest software on all this stuff. Like I don't know if you downloaded any of the new software, Mark.
No, I haven't gotten it yet. I haven't gotten it.
If you download the new software for your IRX or whatever, all these own hammer captures are in there.
Oh, awesome!
So you can swap out what you had.
Very cool.
I'm looking at myself on the screen.
Guitar Rocks. What's going on? Mr. Jakey Lee, big fan, love your playing. Are you still in touch with Bob Daisley? And have you met the Rhoads family after you became the guitar player for Ozzy? Those are cool questions.
Yeah, okay. I have not seen Daisley since he got fired from the Ultimate Sin.
Wow.
When we were doing Ultimate Sin. Love him. I just haven't run into him. He was I think, as is well known, he was huge factor in how Ozzy sounded.
He's so underrated.
Underrated. I mean, for the lyricist, first of all, fucking excellent lyricist.
Amazing.
And he did all that and helped so much with. I would come in with a riff. Basically, I would do Bark at the Moon. When I brought it, it was 2 parts. It was the ba-dam, verse riff part, and then the chorus. Ba, da, da, da.
Right.
To me, that was a song because I came from LA, and that's how everything was structured back then. Verse, chorus, solo over the verse, double chorus out. You got a song, right?
Yeah.
And so I brought that as it was, and he said, no, we need a bridge. And then he came up with bram, 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 that part in between the chorus and the verse, which the English call a bridge, which I was like, oh yeah, cool. And the solo should be different than the rest of the song. He kind of said, no, we already did that part. Let's go somewhere else with a solo. He helped me so much with learning how to write. And he was a big, and I could tell. I'd go back and listen to the first 2 with Randy. I could say, oh, that's Daisley there. That was Daisley's idea. And he's just such a huge part of what Ozzy sounded like. Anyway,
we should try to find him.
Let's call him. Who's got his number?
Love to have him on
the show. Oh, hey, Warren, he wouldn't be watching this. But if you are, I left my phone at the hotel. I was going to call you back. Sorry, bro. Come down. If you're watching, come down right now. What else? Oh, and to my wife, she's not watching either. But yeah, I left my phone at the hotel. I'm not ignoring you.
We can always text them to let them know that at a certain time.
All right.
I hate when you lose your phone, man, or leave it behind.
We didn't lose it.
Leave it behind.
Just walked out without it.
But you get so lost. Earlier, we were here, and I went outside for a smoke, and I locked myself out. And I realized I don't have a phone. I can't tell him. I'm hanging on the door. He doesn't hear me, and it wasn't until he said, "Where's Jake?"
Yeah, I'm like, I wonder. No, I literally thought, I wonder if he locked himself out.
Oh God. Mr. Anderson, what's up? Hey guys, Jake, I asked the same question to Dave Navarro when he was on the show. Curious about you too. What would you say was your eureka moment when developing your technique as a guitarist?
Huh. How did Dave answer? Because I'm not.
I don't remember.
They ask good questions.
It's an interesting one. I don't know if I don't think there was one. What's your eureka moment? I don't know. There really was one. I'm sorry. I don't think I can answer that.
Was there a moment where you in terms of just reaching a plateau and kind of going over that and being like, oh, I've kind of achieved. We all kind of have that, I guess, got to something. You're like, oh shit, I can play this now that I wasn't able to play before, or something like that. No.
Yeah, I'm not relating. I don't.
No. Okay.
As Warren DeMartini said, you could play anything. He was talking about you.
Oh,
he goes, yeah, he could just play anything. He just like he learned it and just played it. It's like
Tyler, my tech for the last couple of years, Anthony's son, Esposito. Anyway, I overheard him one day talking to somebody else, and it made me really happy. He says, "No, Jake can play and do anything. You don't understand." He sat there, and then there's a solo part coming up. And says, "Do you want it to sound Indian? Do you want it to sound jazzy? How about if I put a country spin on?" He can play anything. You throw something at him and say, "Play it this way," and he can do it. And I've never seen anybody be able to do that before. And
that is sort of what Warren was saying.
After that, I gave him a raise. I don't think he heard. I don't think he knew I was listening. But if he did, then good move on his part.
That's funny.
But I wasn't trying to brag or anything, but I like trying to do that. You know, like, what if I put a spin on this?
Oh, that's interesting.
Some other kind of spin. Or I also like playing. What if George Lynch played this solo? How would he do it? And I like doing that. Or Pass Off. Or my favorite is Ace Frehley, because you do Ace Frehley licks over anything, and it always works. Always. In that way, he is a genius.
I was going to say Ace Frehley is underrated earlier as well. But Gator, any updates on getting the Badlands recordings released? Would you be able to re-record with another singer? I'd suggest Bo Bice. He could crush it.
Bo Bice. That's interesting.
The Badlands, they're gone. That's maybe 50 years from now. Okay,
what's the deal with that?
So here's the deal. Yeah. Here's the deal. This is what I know. I don't think I've ever actually said it. When we fired Paul O'Neill as the manager, he did what he threatened to do, and he went to the top of Atlantic Records. Amit Erdogan, the guy who started, and who loved Badlands. He shook my hand and said, "I love you guys. We're going to do everything to promote." He went to Amit Erdogan and told him about Ray's condition, which I still wasn't sure was, real.
Yeah.
That he was HIV positive. He went to Amit, and whatever he said to Amit turned Amit completely off Badlands. And there is a mandate from Amit, and he's dead now. But it still stands because he founded Atlantic Records. It still stands. Badlands, never to be released, never to have anything put out. There was a time Rock Candy, I think, got a license to put some Badlands stuff out, and then it disappeared. And from what I heard, it was somebody who didn't know about the Amit Erdogan mandate. And then once somebody else found out, what? Oh, you licensed Badlands? You can't do that. It got taken from Rock Candy. So
really they won't re-release or won't do anything. It seems
Amit was God.
I understand, right. But it seems silly.
And that's why I'm saying in 50 years, when they don't give a shit about the guy who started it, maybe they would. Bad. But as of right now, there's no chance.
Well, if anybody from Atlantic is listening, you can make some money.
They could make some money.
Make some money re-releasing.
And it's all about weighing against Amit's wishes.
Yeah.
And making money.
That's too bad.
And eventually money will win. It always does.
Yeah.
But that's what the deal is. It was Amit. It was a doctrine, He said no, nothing.
Wow.
Which It's a shame. But there's your answer.
Yeah.
Oh, re-record now. No.
You can't re-record it.
I wouldn't. No. Yeah, no. It was,
Gotcha.
it was Badlands was, you know, Ray Gillen, and no, I wouldn't do it, and I don't really want to have to go back and do something I already did. I'm more of a next thing kind of guy. So
Right. Okay. Well,
okay. I moved the light so it doesn't look like the sun is shining on the side of my head as much.
all right, well,
it was like
cool.
I was so close. I'm normally in the middle, right? And like I'm
Yeah.
like sitting right next to the lights, like
didn't even notice that.
Well, if you want to hear Badlands, you can go on YouTube. Also, the album's there too. So
That's your
There
answer
you
for
go.
everything.
that's it. Simon Hosford, what's up, Simon? Simon lives in Australia. Great guitar player. I was never that much into Ozzy when I was young, but it was Jake's playing and tone on Bark of the Moon that had me listening to that record a lot. Thank you, Jake. Greetings from a different Aussie.
Well, thank you. And you know, I don't know. I had a little bit of whiskey. I still to this day there's people that, you know, that like my playing and like it better than Randy's, and then there's always the people that's ridiculous. Like it's written somewhere that no, Randy is just better. Anybody who thinks differently is an idiot.
I think
and
it's a different.
We're different
style.
and I'm not saying I'm better than Randy.
No.
But I don't think Randy's better than me either. And I don't think it's wrong for certain people to like my style of playing better than Randy's. I probably drank too much. If anything, my shit's a little bit harder to play.
Oh, it's harder to play for sure
than Randy's shit.
Yes.
So the whole guitarist better.
You painted yourself in a circle on some of that shit. Oh my god.
Oh yes, there's shit I can't do. I can't do anymore, especially with my wrist.
Yeah.
But the whole Randy is better, period, and all is just wrong. You have a preference. Once you get to a certain level, it's not like this guy's better. This guy's better.
Right.
Oh, it's who do you like? Who speaks to you?
Right.
more?
What style of music do you like better? And yeah, exactly.
Although, to maybe help me get out of this a little bit, because I know I'm going to get a ton of shit for that. His writing, it's
amazing, great.
How he used classical style into the rock thing was unparalleled. And I don't think
at the time unheard of.
And I don't think anybody's done it better since.
No.
So it's, if you're gonna say guitar bear, who's better, who's worse, no, fuck you. There is no better or worse there. The writing, I got to take my hat off to him there. The stuff he did was awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
It was amazing.
Maybe that
I mean, I've said this before on the show a million times. I love Randy. He was great. And the writing was amazing. What you just said was actually truly great. Yeah. I mean, those songs kind of unheard of when they came out. You're like the whole structure of the song, and it's like
Revelation, Mother Earth.
Yeah.
That's like a symphonic piece.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. And I'm going to give him props for that. I preferred your playing on the Ozzy stuff. There's something that spoke to me more with that, but I'm not discounting Randy in any way, shape, or form. Like I said before, so in California there was the California 5. I brought this up before.
California 5.
So Eddie, Randy, you, Warren,
Jorge,
and George. This is a California 5, and the California 5 was, I mean, sure, there were lots of good guitar players, There was lots, sure. And that time, that era had, I mean, everyone was trying to top everyone, you know, as far as guitar playing goes. But in California, there was the 5 guitar. Okay, I'm going to say guitar heroes or guitar greats, or the ones that still wind up on magazine covers even to this day. You know, even if magazines exist anymore, which they kind of don't. But and I mean, you know, fight me if you think different, but I'm sorry. That was it. Those were the guys.
I would say that was,
and that made the most impact. There were other guitar players that were great, and I'm not talking about people from other countries, or like, you know, there were sure that John Sykes, amazing guitar player, but he's not. He's from England.
Those 5,
you know,
you have to at least add Vivian and John Sykes, but.
I love Vivian and John Sykes, but you know, John Sykes was particularly great.
You had the guys that were influenced by Gary Moore, and then you had the guys that were influenced by Eddie Van Halen.
Different.
Right, that's true. Yeah,
I mean, you had all sorts of. I mean, you know, like Vito Bratta was amazing guitar player. You know, like, you know, he wasn't. He was a New York guy. He wasn't.
And he wasn't necessarily
distinct, different
in his the 5 you mentioned,
and also the 5 that I mentioned also had. So, Eddie, of course, you know, that was. Eddie's Eddie. Yeah. Eddie's Eddie, and unfortunately, he's no longer with us. And he was a great guy. But he like set the bar, and like that guitar tone was like crazy with Eddie. You know, come on, it was just fucking amazing.
Oh,
and the funny thing is, it was relatively simple, but it was, you know, but it was an amazing guitar tone. But you know, George had made many records that had amazing guitar tones. Warren had great guitar tones over time, depending on what record. Yeah, you know,
well, Lay It Down is like a classic tone.
Yeah. And that's a very interesting, like, when you think about that guitar tone, it's like kind of interesting. I was always kind of like, what makes that sound exactly? And I actually think it's his hands. But because if you think about it, it's kind of like rolled over a little bit. It's not too sharp sounding, and it's like, and it's kind of compressed and kind of warm, and I'm like, that's, you know, but yeah.
I'm sorry. I was going to say, for me, I prefer Jake's tone with Ozzy than Randy's tone.
Well, no, I mean, Randy didn't have the greatest tone in the world.
No, the tone.
Occasionally, his, you know, like if you listen to some of the live stuff that he had done, the sound was pretty good, but I don't think what was recorded was always that great.
Diary was better than the first one. I remember when I heard it, I went, "Wow, this guy's great," but didn't like it. It was brittle and thin.
It was nasally. Yeah.
Nasally. Yeah.
But it's a weird thing when thinking about all this, because I was young in this era. You know, like I was reasonably young in this era, and it's always interesting for me because I wound up working for almost all the people that I watched when I was a kid.
That's fun.
In some fashion. Yeah. Like Eddie, you, Warren, John Sykes, George, and never Randy, he died. You know. But it's kind of interesting once in a while that I think about that, and I'm like going, that's really weird. You know, like that's really sort of weird.
It's awesome.
But cool. It's cool. Yeah. It's cool. I you know, that's good. I'll never forget. I had to go out to a Van Halen when they were doing, which I don't know what tour it was, but it had been in the 2000s, and I had to go out to Detroit, and I hadn't been back to my hometown in 10 years or more, and I was going to Detroit, and I hadn't talked to my best friend growing up, who owns a guitar store there, for years. Like I hadn't talked to him. Just nothing like bad. Just we just fell out of touch, you know. Yeah. And I'm like, hey, I'm going to go Detroit. I'm like, I want to give Marty a call and see if he's. I don't know. I'm going to find him. I'm going to call his store. Yeah. And like maybe they'll give me his actual number, you know. And like I called on a Sunday and he answered the phone. Oh. And I'm like, well, okay, this was easy. And I'm talking to him and I go, hey, I'm coming to Detroit. I haven't seen you in a million years. I got to go there for Van Halen. Do you want to come out to the Palace Arena and hang out for the day, you know? So he came and met me there where I was working. And I had already done my work. He hung out with me all day. We get to the sound check, right? And so he's there with me, and you know, Ed comes out and he comes over and he goes, oh, thanks for flying out, and you know, thanks for, and I go, hey, this is I would consider him my brother because I grew up with him as a kid, and didn't have a brother, so like he's the closest thing I have to brother. I told Ed that essentially, and Ed's just like, oh, great. And he just gives him a kiss and a hug. And I watched Marty melt. Yeah. He was like, oh my God. Because we watched them growing up and, you know, like, you know, went to
like an idol. Yeah.
It was an idol. But he was like, you know, and that's a funny, it was a funny experience. It was kind of no big deal for me already, but like it was like it was
if that had been me, I probably would have lost some shit.
Yeah, he melt. I mean, he was very composed about it, but like, you know, yeah. I mean, a hug and a kiss. I mean, like it was like, you know, Ed was very much like that. He would give you a hug and probably kiss. Dutch
ain't never kissed
thing. Yeah. Well, I'm just saying.
Did you ever hang out with him, Jake?
He gave me a huge line of coke. Yeah. There's no kissing involved. Yeah. But that's cool that you got to people you grew up listening to, you get to work with. And they were all cool except, well, George. George is an asshole. But and I'm just doing that.
We're kidding.
I'm just doing that as a little George. You know.
Yeah. Well, George is great. He's been on here several times.
Yes.
Some of the funniest ones. Let's see. Is David gonna let Jake fire up a spliff there in the studio? Rest in peace, EVH.
Well, if you mean fire up a spliff, like
as in a cigarette,
line of coke?
No.
Man, when I was in
I am dying for a cigarette.
When I was in Vegas, Planet 13. Did you ever go there?
Did you go? Did you go there?
Yeah, that's like
you mean it's not Planet 13. It's,
that's not ringing a bell.
It's you mean the
No, it's called Planet 13. It's the largest dispensary in Vegas.
Oh,
well, yeah, I wouldn't know about that.
Okay.
Oh, I thought you were talking about what's
I was thinking area,
but
it's not
Area 51.
51. Area 51?
It might be 50.
Have you been there?
It's different from but everybody says it's really fucking cool.
It's pretty cool.
You've been
I haven't been to the Sphere yet either, and everybody says
you
that's
should go to
really
Area 51.
cool.
Maybe next time I come to Vegas, let's go.
The Sphere is
over there. And
the Sphere is awesome.
You know what? I just send the wife and the kid off fucking meandering. They have this wonderful bar in the center of the place that has this crazy, like, it's a fake tree, but it's hanging over this whole bar, and it's like it's dim lit, and it's just got this vibe, and you're just sitting there just going, I like it here.
I've seen
like,
photos,
you know, like I like
and
it
stuff,
and
it looks really cool.
It's pretty cool. They do have something I've never done, and actually I wouldn't mind trying to do it. Is axe throwing. There's an axe throwing place in there.
I'm not going with you.
You think? Come on, you think a little bit of booze and some axe throwing? That's what could go wrong.
Little decapitation.
And that's what I always think of. Like, so there's
actually, I would do it, but
yeah, maybe not for
the
your
wrist,
best for your
and now
wrist.
the shoulders,
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah,
probably
Then I
not.
can
Probably
blame
not
you
the best
for
choice.
everything.
You can blame me for everything. Yeah.
Stiffmeister, oh yeah.
I
Jake-
am drinking.
Okay.
His is
Well, I mean,
empty, and he hasn't put any in it for a while.
I haven't put it in for a while. He's.
I've been drinking.
We're about
the whole
even
time.
here. I mean, I'm not.
No, he's been pouring. I've been keeping an eye. He's been pouring. Dinosaur. There you go.
We're trying to keep it a little more composed than the last 4-hour fucking show that we did. That went off the track a bit after the second hour.
Yeah. Well, we're not going to be going 4 hours tonight. That's for sure. No. Bad Mac bass and bass or bass and bass.
Well, I really want, while Jake's here, I really want I want scent of a wheelchair pillow to come up. So there's a guy that has a the title name on his thing is scent of a wheelchair pillow. And every time we see it, we're just like, oh my God, that is just so wrong.
It sounds like a
terrible
song. Sounds like a song.
Could be
a
song. You might need to write it.
I'd like to hear that riff.
Can you imagine what does that smell like? I don't know.
I started playing guitar because of Bark at the Moon album. My favorite guitarist ever. Did you at one point have a candy red guitar with a chrome pickguard? I'm trying to replicate it. Yes, I'm a nerd.
Yeah,
you did, didn't you?
I did. Yeah. It was candy apple red. It was built with a tremolo, but I just
hard.
Yeah. What do you say? Screwed it down.
Yeah, screwed it down.
It was inoperable. I think I had one pickup. It looked cool. I thought it sounded like shit. Not that matters if you just want to replicate the look. Yeah. But yeah, I did. It was when I first joined Ozzy, I needed backup guitars. That was one of the ones that Charvel sent. That
I remember seeing the picture
and
of
a
that.
light blue Alan Holdsworth. They said it was made for Alan Holdsworth, I think, but he never picked it up. So there was a candy apple red and a light blue Alan Holdsworth Charvel they sent me out to, so I'd have some backup. Yes.
Yes.
So man, those old Charvels are going for a lot of money.
Oh yeah, the old ones, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I just saw the Music Zoo had a couple of them that were the ones from that they did the stripes, like Eddie. The ones that they kind of sold out the back.
Oh well, the ones that shouldn't have been done.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Let's see, Jake. When was the first time you saw Van Halen?
Sure.
Doing a line of coke.
First time it was 78. Their album had just come out, but they were big enough in California because they were huge in California right away. They did a headlining show. I think it was at the San Diego Sports Arena, but I'm not sure. Headlining show it was not long after the first album had come out, and nobody that I knew had seen them live yet. And I saw them there. I'm trying to think who might have opened for them. I don't know, but it was very, very early on. And people that I knew that had seen them in soundcheck, and they said they sound just like the fucking album, but they're all over the place. I was like, can't wait. And they sound just like the album. Fucking David Lee Roth, love him or hate him, he was the
at
ultimate
that point in
front
time,
man.
ultimate time front man.
Ultimate front man.
Yeah.
And they were amazing. So that would have been in 78.
Wow, you're lucky. That's amazing.
That's a good one.
I am lucky. I saw Black Sabbath on their Masters of Reality tour. I think that was 70, maybe 71.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Saw them, like I said, Grand Funk Railroad. It's just amazing my parents let me do that. I mean, when I saw Grand Funk, 13, maybe 14. I said, hey, I want to go see a band. They said, okay. they let me get on a bus, go to downtown San Diego, which was a really bad area at that time. It's all hookers and pimps and drug dealers. Go there, get on another bus, go to the sports arena where everybody was smoking pot. And I don't think they realized what they were letting me do. But
that sounds like my kid.
They did pick me up after.
Sounds like my kid. It's like he's 13 going on 18.
He is.
Easy. And he looks 18.
Yeah.
Oh, he's big.
Yeah, he looks mature.
He looks mature and like long hair and like he goes out and about and does stuff and like goes on the subway and takes it places and goes explores the world. Wow. But I think that's good.
Yeah, I would encourage that up to a point.
I think he's fine. He always makes it home. He good. You know, like we don't baby him.
There you go.
In the slightest.
Roger Dat, $20. Thank you. My first concert was Bark at the Moon, Bladel Center. You killed that show, and Honolulu was deaf and mute for days following. Mahalo, Jake.
Bladel Center. So that's in
Hawaii.
Honolulu,
Honolulu, I guess.
Huh.
Wow.
You
remember playing that show?
I don't remember playing in Hawaii. I remember.
Must have been there.
Bark at the Moon. Well, I remember going to Hawaii at one point, and then I think the show got canceled. And since we were all there in a unusually gracious act from Sharon, everybody got to stay there, including the road crew. I got to stay there for a week. She put them up.
Great.
We just vacationed. Yeah, I really liked Hawaii. It's fun.
I like Hawaii.
And that might have been, that was Ultimate Sin. Because I remember,
all right, so you probably
Suzanne
went
was there. So yeah, might have.
I mean, since he was there and saw it, unless he just imagined it. I mean, I'm assuming that's correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You imagine he was there.
You're welcome, Roger
Dat. 40 Grip. What's going on, Jake? Do you still talk to Warren? Well, not without his phone. But have you spoken to him recently? Dave, status on the Warren head.
Oh man.
Well, first off, you couldn't splurge on another penny to make it an even 20. It's 1999.
1999.
I mean, come on, dude. I can't even answer that question now. But I do speak to Warren, not as much as I'd like to. Every time I talk to him, we have a great conversation. I was supposed to call him back today. I told him I'd be here in LA, and then he left a message on my phone, said, call me when you get a chance. And I left my phone at the hotel. But
we can call him after.
Yeah. So I will. And have you spoken to him? Here.
And Dave, any status on the Warren head?
Well, in true Warren fashion, I always get kind of like, maybe.
So no definitive.
The last where I left it was I was gonna make him one that's like his, and then see what he thinks. So,
okay,
I don't know. There's so many things stacked up to do. I can't even begin to fathom so many things.
Dave Miller, also short on the penny. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. There must be a reason for that. Like they must pick an amount or something, or there's something like.
We're just totally kidding. I totally appreciate it. Hey, Jake, you're the best Ozzy guitarist. Ultimate Sin is a masterpiece. Did you use many effects on this album? Your solo on the Ultimate Ozzy VHS is still the best.
Thank you. I don't remember which solo that was. Is that the hair pulling? Maybe that's what he's talking about.
Good.
Yeah. And people are always like, "Oh, I'd never let him."
Yeah, you were telling me that. Remember, I brought it up.
See,
I could yank on his hair. It doesn't hurt him.
To me, I don't understand why it hurts people. I don't know if I just have dead nerves in my scalp.
I don't know.
It's no thing.
I think we talked about that. Like the last time I was in Vegas or something, we talked about that. No, it was not the last. I don't remember anything of the last.
Well, I don't think it was hurt. No, I would not let him do it, but it just doesn't hurt me.
It looked amazing when he drug you to the stage, down to the stage, and just it was so bombastic. The whole thing was cool.
And it's probably a good thing that he fired me after that.
Yeah, because
how are we going to top it? He'd probably hang me or something.
I mean, and if you got drugged to the stage today like that, you'd probably break something.
Yes, I would. Absolutely. But best Ozzy, did you have any? Oh, effects on the album. A lot of the effects that you hear on Ultimate Sin was me doing it through pedals and recording it that way. The echoes, like on the beginning of Killer of Giants, it was echo pedal. In fact, any effect you hear on their chorus or flange or whatever would have been, I think, me playing through the pedals and recording it that way, and not leaving it in the hands of Ron Nevison, who I didn't trust at that point. So, and it was mostly Boss flange, Boss chorus, the Boss OD1. I was a Boss kind of guy back then.
Okay.
I always like to say, because they always work.
They're reliable.
Maybe not the absolute best in the world, but they'll always work.
Yeah.
And sound good.
You can run a car.
Really, I mean, their choruses. I name a better chorus, really.
Oh, Boss old CE2, the old CE2 chorus, or CE1 even. That's even cooler.
CE1?
The big, huge one.
The big. Oh, those were the best.
The vibrato setting on that, the wobbly.
Those were the best. I love that. I used that on last Red Dragon Cartel.
Yeah, I have.
All right, drum roll. You ready?
Uh-oh.
What, Nikki Sixx?
Scent of a wheelchair.
That's a wheelchair.
There he is. Hey, Jake. So great to see you on here again. My favorite Tone Talk guest. Would you tell us the kind of rig you use around the house? Lunchbox, full stack. Would love to know. Love your stuff.
Full stack. No, I live in a neighborhood, so it's not a full. The 20 watt
JL20.
Yeah, through because Dave won't give me any of his cabinets, so I think I have I think we worked that out. I think it was a divided by 13 112 cab. And I don't play very loud. That's that, and I don't want to get Charvel mad at me, but usually I have weird oddball guitars. I have a Joe Pass Epiphone that I like playing when I feel jazzy,
right?
And I've got speaking of Mark Farner, I've got one of the replicas that Eastwood Guitars makes of his original guitar, the kind of weird looking thing, and a bunch of pedals. I kind of went pedal crazy over COVID.
like everybody else.
I bought a bunch of pedals because they're reasonably cheap compared to guitars and amps,
right? And
they're fun to fuck with. So yeah. And a lot of fuzz pedals. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them.
You like fuzz pedals?
I love fuzz pedals. I think. I don't want to get in trouble here, but I had this old. Whoa!
See, look, natural amp. It exists.
That's the 50.
Yeah. Show the picture.
Let me see. Yeah, it looks real.
Looks real.
Pull. Oh, now you put pull gain on it. See, the 20 didn't have that.
You got an early one, okay?
See,
I gotta swap that out for you, maybe.
I don't know. I like it. The Jakey Lee symbol is the loft kilter, and
yeah, it's like a prototype.
Yeah, I like that it's funky and weird. Oh,
that's
well, cool. Tell us what? Yeah, the 20. I have that into a divided by 13 cabinet because I don't have any Friedman.
Well, I'm afraid Well, you got some new stuff coming, so
okay.
What kind of fuzz do you like? Are you more like a fuzz face kind of guy, or like a big
broken fuzzes?
I like old school. A friend of mine, Scotty, shout out, had somebody make me one to get as close as possible to the tone on "Season of the Witch" by Donovan. I think it's Jimmy Page playing on it. It even says "Season of the Witch," I think, inside the pedal. Stuff to replicate the old, although Black Keys.
Yeah,
they had some great fuzz sounds.
Absolutely.
You know, I
broken like low end, like
yeah. They have some great ones, but I usually harken back to Randy Bachman. That tone, which I guess was a kind of mini preamp or something that he used.
The BTO thing. There was an amp too that was
yeah, he's
like was it
Garnet?
Yeah, Garnet.
Yeah,
Herzog or something, or
yes, that sounds like it. But I guess that was his.
I tried that
pedal.
once. A client of mine has one. He brought it in. You got to try this. And I'm like, oh, that's pretty fucking cool.
It's too big for a pedal, man. But
it's huge. It's an amp.
But yeah, like the fuzz and Guess Who or the other Randy, California. Is that fuzz? They say it was a Jordan Boss tone.
Yeah,
which is weird to plug in.
Yeah, weird little thing.
But his that fuzz tone on Mechanical World and Dark Eyed Lady, it's awesome. It's all smooth and stuff, and then you hit a certain note and it'd break up and like die a little bit.
That's what's interesting about fuzz. It every fuzz has its own little personality to it, and it's awesome. My favorite fuzzes are made by a company called Death by Audio. They make.
I think I have one
on
War something.
Fuzz War.
Fuzz War, maybe.
Yeah, with it's got a clicker knob on it.
Yeah,
there's all sorts of things. Fuzz War is pretty fucking cool. But Death by Audio makes a bunch of really fun fuzzes that are. You're either into them or you're not into them. I'm into them. I think
I like them too.
But you have to play into a clean. You have to play into a clean amp.
Clean or very
you can't.
Depends on the fuzz.
You can't have like, here's my tone. Yeah, and it's distorted, and then put a fuzz in because it just fucks shit up.
I mean, if the amp is ever so slightly broken up, just like a little crunch, and then some fuzzes work well with that. Otherwise, we want it to be totally clean.
Yeah, I mean, if you use like a big muff, you just want it to be completely clean. You know,
like a vintage Marshall at like say 5 or something, where it's just breaking up a little bit.
Yeah.
With a fuzz, sometimes works really well, depending on the fuzz. I'm going to say depending because it doesn't always.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that I can use all these fuzz pedals that I've acquired over the last couple of years through this old Gibson Skylark or something like that.
Yeah,
it's from the 60s, and it has a 10-inch and a 15-inch, and what do you call them when they split the frequencies?
Crossover, like kind of.
It has a built-in crossover with all these waxy looking things in there. And when I bought it because it looked cool, because it's sort of triangular. I just bought it because it was cool and cheap. And then when I tried to play it, it was so loud and clean and bright because it has that crossover. And the 10 was just screaming the highs. I was like, I can't play this. I can't play it if I'm trying to get a general sound. But I bet that amp would be bitching on fuzz.
You haven't tried it yet?
I haven't, because I live in the neighborhood and I can't crank that thing. I'm going to go to George. Isn't George supposed to be building a studio?
He has sort of a studio at his place already, yeah.
I'm just show up at George's house one day and with the amp and a bunch of fuzz pedals.
Let's try this.
Yeah.
Oh, he'll like that. He loves fuzz pedals.
And he plays loud. We're talking about George Bahone from Cairo Knife Fight. He plays loud as fuck on stage. And that was a thing when he was using.
I remember I took you to the first gig.
Yeah.
It was like, you need to come to see my buddy play. And he's like, and you're kind of like, what? And your friends play, and it's like,
do I have to pretend?
I later was like, what do you think I would even invite you to something that wasn't good? Come on. It'd be like me saying, hey, let's go to this restaurant. It's really shitty. Come on. No.
They have black chickens.
They have the best restaurant ever.
We probably went through that.
Yeah, I think we went through that.
Yeah.
Looking weird. But
Tobias Ryan. Great show, guys. Thanks for being such an inspiration, Jake. The Gel 20 kicks ass.
It does. It does.
Cool.
Thank you.
You should be proud. It's a great
$5
amp.
right there. Let's get to the next.
Hunter Ralph, what's up, man? Jake, will Charvel ever release a purple US Charvel SIG? Also, have you ever heard
this guy? Okay, yes. They keep telling me it's in the works. Tempesta says I just bugged him about it maybe 2 weeks, 10 days ago. I said, dude, come on. It's because it
makes sense to do.
It's their trifecta.
Makes sense to do.
Whitey, Bluey, and Perp.
Right. Makes sense. It makes total sense to do it.
You can't stop. You got to get the purple one out. So I'm bugging him, and he's
okay. When that happens, I want one.
Okay.
Work that into the deal.
What am I going to get out of it? Do I finally get one of your cabinets?
Yes. Yes.
Or I get to hear a cream back that you've been saying is great, and I've never heard one. Anyway.
Well, yes.
Let's get back to he paid $5.
You're gonna get that. You're gonna get that with a 212 cabinet coming your way.
Yeah,
that'll work out of your house.
That would.
Have you ever heard of Dino?
So they're supposed to come out with a purple one. They year after year they're saying, oh, can't do it now, but maybe next year. So we're pushing it because they have the actual colors. With the blue one, they didn't still have the information when they made it. So I had to give them the original blue one, and then they had to match it up, and then they'd send me prototypes of it. I said, it doesn't look right, until we finally got it right. With the purple one, they have all the information, what paint they used, the dark and the light. So it should be easier for them to come out with, and we're working on it. We'll see. Last I heard, 2025, there'll be a purple one. I don't know. Oh, although they did, I think what he did say was there'd be the cheaper version of the Blueburst.
That makes sense to do.
Yeah,
sure.
They're going to do that.
Actually, frankly, the cheap version of the white one was really good. I thought it was good.
Sometimes cheaper versions.
Except they messed up the shielding paint, but that's another story. I'll tell you about that later.
Okay. Anyway, and Dino, yeah. Of course,
he's good.
Like a million people. The record company that I'm on, they tried to push him on me 8 years ago or something. I think he's good. He's good. He's not Ray Gillen. And maybe he could be, but I think what people they hear him sing. I think Last Time is the one that he sang, and to me, it's he's missing a lot of the nuances, the dynamics that Ray could sing in one line. It wasn't full out. Dino is full out. He like, where Ray could be full out, and in the middle of it, just dip a little. There's these little nuances and dynamics that Ray had that I don't hear from this Dino guy. To me, it sounds like, and I don't want to diss him, but if he's going to try to sound like Ray Gillen, to me, he sounds like a AI generated.
Oh, wow.
Ray Gillen.
All right.
You know, missing all the little things that made
Ray
Gillen
I mean,
special.
that's you can,
and just
I mean,
capitalizing on the.
I mean, I think you can say that about anyone that tries to be anyone. You know what I mean? Like, you try to play like Eddie Van Halen, you're not going to be Eddie Van Halen because you can't do all the nuances and the little things. You're just not going to do it. Can you get maybe close? Okay, sure. Could you capture most of the feel and vibe? Maybe so. But there's some, you know, there's that 10% extra that's missing.
His timing, his
it's the time and everything. I said the same thing about drummers. You know, it's like,
well, first off, they're stupid. But
okay, well, we can start with that. But I was listening to kind of dawned on me the other day. So like, Jerry Cantrell has a solo record that he came out with, and he was trying to get a heavier kind of dirt era kind of vibe out of his solo record.
Yeah.
And I would see him do this live, and it was good. But when I heard him play like the older Alice in Chains songs in his live set, I'm like, something's missing. Wait, what's missing? Yeah. Something's wrong. It's the right guy playing it. And I'm like going, oh, Sean Kinney, the drummer from Alice in Chains. That's what's missing. The feel was fundamentally different about the song. And like we were saying about Mick Mars not being in Motley, it's not then Motley. Tommy Lee not being in Motley, it's not then really Motley anymore. Could it be okay? Could it be good?
Yeah. Okay, John Five is awesome guitar player. He's an incredible guitar player.
Yeah.
I just don't know that he's right for what I would expect from Motley Crue.
And the tuning is different.
Yeah, tley.
That's the other thing. The tuning's different too. Yeah. It's like
the tley versus
Mick was always a D mostly.
Yeah.
With a D, and I
what are they doing now?
John, I don't think he's tuned. It doesn't sound like he's tuned to D. Huh. I don't know. I could be wrong with that, and it could be totally off, or it just doesn't sound like that kind of thing that Mick had.
He always had a great tone, just a big fat.
He talked about what he used to use.
Yeah, I heard he sold all his shit.
He didn't sell all of it. Some of it. Yeah. He still has some of it. But he talked about what he used in the early days. It was in the Electro Harmonics LPB1.
I remember those. Thing? Yeah.
So boosted into the front of the Marshall. And the Marshall had a master volume added to it. So effectively, what a Jose later became. So he later got a Jose, but effectively the same idea. Boosted a little bit and put a master on it, and that's what's like Too Fast for Love and like that, and maybe even the first, maybe even the whatever that other record was, the one that came after that. Why can't I think of that right now?
Shout at the
Devil. Yeah.
Yep. I think he said he got the Jose after that, right?
Yes, I think he did.
Yeah.
Okay, wait a minute. Now that I've had enough, and I've been sitting on this for so long. Let's see if it even still works. I've been sitting on this because Nicky got his panties in such a twist over what I had said in the last one, which all I said was they wanted me in Motley Crue, which is it's just fucking true. They did.
Yeah.
Other people have backed me up on that. And recently, even Mick Mars said, yeah, they were always telling me Jicky Lee, blah, blah, blah. So I wasn't lying, and I don't think I was saying anything mean.
No.
But Nicky got all fucking about it.
Well, also, it was said in Kerrang! Magazine. Yeah. And was it you that found the copy?
I have a copy of it.
No, but someone sent us a copy of it.
Someone sent us a copy of it verbatim. And you went into more detail about it in there.
And that was in 83 before Motley Crue came out with Shout at the Devil. And I said, yeah, they wanted me in their band. But Nicky got in such a fucking hissy fit.
He did.
And I don't even see how that's a bad thing. It's just, hey, As a matter of fact, blah, 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 blah. And and he called me a shadowy worm. Shadowy worm. I remember, because that's just a weird thing to call somebody. Right?
That is a weird thing to say.
Oh, he did the whole has-been wannabe, which can you be both, a has-been and a wannabe? But no, he said that, but the shadowy worm, I remember, because who the fuck talks like that? That's a weird thing. And here's the thing I've been sitting on. It's like he thinks he's in a Tim Burton movie, calling me a shadowy worm, which makes sense because he dresses like Beetlejuice and he plays bass like Edward Scissorhands. There, I've been sitting on that for so long. I have to get it out there, and that'll be the clickbait headline on the internet.
It might be now.
Nicky says
Plays bass like
Edward
Scissorhands.
and he did dress like Beetlejuice for a while. Remember, he had that black and white
yeah.
which is right out of
Right out of Beetlejuice.
Finally,
yes.
I got that off my chest.
That is right out of Beetlejuice.
It is.
Isn't it?
It is. So
now that I'm thinking about that, yes.
So yeah. I've had that for so long.
That's so funny.
You released it now.
I had to get it out there.
You released it into the world now.
You should feel better.
And now it'll go everywhere.
I feel so much lighter now. Yes.
Exactly. Did we ask this? No. Jake, what is your preferred pickup in the bridge? JB's, I heard. And what neck pickup would you use?
Well, if it's in the Charvel, I assume that's what you're talking about.
I think so.
Yeah. The JB is
with an Alnico 2 magnet, though, right?
I do that, but I think I just do that to be weird.
That sounds better,
actually. But I do take the JB, put an Alnico 2 in it.
Sounds better.
Kind of softens it up a little.
Yeah.
The JB's almost maybe a little harsh. But yeah, I put the Alnico. The perfect match for the JB is the DiMarzio SD.
Basically the super distortion single coil.
Yeah. That comes
SDS.
I think it's SDS1.
SDS1s.
But
it does match up really well. Actually,
it
matches really well because of the level and everything.
Yeah.
Because I put a regular single coil in there, it's like.
I tried other pickups because DiMarzio kind of has a reputation for stealing shit. I didn't want to use DiMarzio, but it was a perfect match for. So that's what I would use for that. Although my favorite pickup is P90s. Just saying.
Yeah. Do you like using P90s when you're like jamming really loud?
He just likes P90s.
To me, they're the perfect rock pickup. They're kind of in between a humbucker and a Strat, closer to a humbucker, but they have more attack and my problem with the P90s has always been that they're noisy.
Right, that's my problem with them. Yeah.
They're noisy as shit. So I just bought an Epiphone SG, the Youngblood or something, because it's white. Right, it's a white SG Junior. Like what I used to have. Yeah, and I said, it'd be nice to have one of those again. So I got one. It's a couple $100.
Yeah,
and I said, why not? And I got that. I'm gonna replace the P90 in that with one of the humbucking P90s and see how that works. I was gonna try Mojo Tone.
Oh, get Lindy Fralin.
I was gonna say Lindy Fralin.
Do they have a humbucking P90?
Yeah, he has a silent P90.
Really good.
Yeah,
it's the best humbucking P90.
And I don't know that does Seymour Duncan even do a hum canceling P90.
I'll introduce you to him, and then you get artist cost on it. He makes great pickups.
I met him a long time ago. He's a great guy.
Great guy.
Lindy Fralin's
always has made really good pickups. Single coil pickups are amazing.
I liked him a lot. I met him in Japan doing one of the Japan NAMM shows.
Oh, okay.
And Lynch was there. This would be way back.
Oh, way back. Lindy goes way back. He was like the first boutique pickup guy.
And then we were
the
jamming.
First one.
We were jamming. There was George and Seymour.
And
there was
Lindy?
me. And we're doing blues songs.
Oh, okay.
And I Seymour went first. He plays well.
Oh, yeah,
He's
yeah,
a good player.
yeah.
And then I went, and he looked at me like, "Oh, I didn't," because I was an Ozzy, I think at the time. He said, "Oh, didn't know you could play blues." And he's going, "Yeah." And then George went, and George just went George. You know, he didn't care if it was blues. He didn't care if it was jazz. He just went full George. I just remember connecting with Seymour because we both looked at each other like, "What the fuck?" And we had a connection after that.
That's fun.
Yeah. If he makes a hum canceling,
Lindy Fralin makes a hum canceling.
Yeah, I don't know if Seymour does. We'll have to check on that.
I don't
does
think
too, but
does he?
I think he makes a hum canceling one too. But
I think.
I mean the P90 that Lindy makes, I think is the best hum canceling P90 I've ever heard.
Huh.
Is it exactly like a
And I
vintage one? Well, you know,
Because I remember the Mojo tone was like at mid 8s, 8.7 or something, as far as the what do you call it?
Lindy likes to talk on the phone, evidently. I just got a bunch of pickups from him.
Anyway,
we actually got a bunch of super chats. No more super chats, guys, because we're never going to get out of here.
$50. Yeah, let's let this guy in.
Yes, Dave Wright or White. Does Jake think it's embarrassing Ozzy is going into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a solo artist? Does he think Bob Daisley is one of the most underappreciated musicians? Yeah, we discussed that. Tell Jake to blink twice if he fears retribution from
Retribution?
Oh, you can still see my eyes though. Okay, embarrassing.
Retribution.
As a solo,
What's
well, he is
retribution?
a solo artist. I mean,
he's always been a solo artist.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, really. I mean,
no, I don't.
it wasn't a band.
It's not embarrassing that he's not going. That he's going to go in as a solo artist. What's embarrassing is people like Jake and Bob don't get the credit that they deserve. That's what's
Yeah,
embarrassing.
but even then, I don't think I should be up there on stage. I maybe Daisley, because Daisley was huge for the first 5 albums.
The writing of the
6,
lyrics and
maybe
like
6
writing
albums,
lyrics
right?
and yeah.
2 with Randy, 2 with me, and
we should try to get
and
Bob
the first two with Zach.
We should try to get Bob Daisley on.
He's been the biggest part or influence, whatever.
Collaborator.
Yes, right. With Ozzy, more so than me or Randy or anybody. Zach, Daisley, I would maybe he should be up there with him.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, Ozzy is a solo artist, so I don't think that's weird.
Yeah.
I don't fear retro. What's Sharon going to do to me?
What's she going to do?
Yeah, take my publishing away or writing credit. She can't do anything to me.
Right. So you could just say bad
Did
things.
you really say anything bad? Really? Not really. You know.
What's she going to say?
More Guitars. Thanks for the super chat. Your riffs, solos, and songs are easily as memorable as King Randy's. You've inspired way more guitarists than you'd ever give yourself credit for. You're one of the best. Any guitarist will agree. Well, that's got to feel good.
Yeah,
that's nice.
Thank you. That I appreciate that. Sometimes I feel like I'm underappreciated, and then sometimes I feel like I'm overappreciated. I'm just a mess, I guess.
Aren't we all?
But I do appreciate that.
That's cool.
Except for all the trolls.
It's amazing.
More trolls than anybody else.
Look at this. I already know about that.
Dinosaur, did Jake have carpal tunnel surgery, and is he going to perform live in the near future?
I did not. Okay, let me see if I can make this real quick.
May as well just tell the whole story.
Yeah. Thought I had carpal tunnel. I went to a neurologist, and they, poked the needles in me and then zapped me. They said I had carpal tunnel. So then I made an appointment with a wrist surgeon, which Took a while. Went there. She asked to see some x-rays, which nobody had ever done. So, well, before we talk about surgery, she took x-rays, came back, said, you don't have carpal tunnel. You don't have it. If anybody had taken an x-ray of your wrist, they would have seen you don't have carpal tunnel. I was like, yay. And apparently I don't have any cartilage left in this hand. She said I have very little in this one, but this one doesn't bother me. Said I don't have, so it's all bone on bone rubbing against each other, and that's agitating it. So right now I'm getting cortisone shots in the wrist, lots of fun, and physical therapy to get the muscles stronger around it, do a lot of stretching. It's about pain management now. And it's either that or fuse the bones together, which I think Steve Morris did. And it will change your
playing style.
Yeah. If you get this fused, now it's all elbow.
Right.
Maybe fingers, I guess.
Then you'll have a problem with the elbow then.
Yeah. Then I'll get tennis elbow. But so she said she recommends pain management. Let's see if we can get you playing without fusing the bones together, which sounds pretty radical. So yeah, and it is better. I am playing again for 4 or 5 years. I just really didn't play that much unless I had a song idea, which always happens when you're falling asleep. And then I'd pick the guitar up and put the idea down. So I do have a bunch of ideas. I've been playing. Doesn't hurt as much. I feel like everything's getting better. So I'm not going to get surgery. I'm just not. I'm not. I'll learn how to play more from the elbow. But I still have that option with the wrist and manage the pain. And yeah, but I am playing again. I have been for about 2 months maybe. And I do plan. I want to go out and do a tour. I want to finish doing the patina tour, which got canceled because of COVID. I would like to go out and do that. Red Dragon Cartel, focus on the patina record, and do some more recording. We'll see where that goes. But what was the question? There,
no, I think it's good. And I think with your physical therapy, like you said, it's only been a short time, and it's greatly improved. And
physical
so I think
therapy
more
for
time,
6 weeks, and it feels better. And I can play
3 months. Then where is it at? Then where are you feeling? So
we'll see. Like I said, my goal is Immigrant Song, which I can't play right now because it involves turning the wrist. And you got to kind of turn it to jump that A string.
Might have to keep the strings on the light side, but yeah.
Right now
Billy Gibbons 8s.
Right now I'm at 9s tuned to a D. I feel good playing that, so we'll see.
Gotcha.
You only got a half step up to make it like kind of normal,
and then 10s because that's what I used to play.
But I don't know if it.
But I like the sound of 9s. Hey,
you can always do 8s.
This is tone talk.
9s sound good.
So many people, bigger the better. They're just, and I think they're mostly the people that say that, and there's a lot of them really don't know that much about guitar. They just assume that the bigger the tone, the bigger the sound. No, 9s.
What about Tony Iommi and like Billy Gibbons
and his 8s and Billy
Billy
Gibbons?
Yes,
those are like tone gods. And then back in the day, Hendrix.
I saw Billy Gibbons not that long ago.
Hendrix and Clapton, they were using Beck when he's getting his tones for a Truth album and shit. Those weren't big fucking gauge shit. Though they have a sound.
Well, I said this. So you're using a vintage Marshall, right? You're cranking it on 10, right? They tend to be, I mean, even the super lead spec, it could be a little theme a little soft or a little loose, you know, maybe. But you know, all those the Van Halen guys, it's like, well, you're forgetting something about your thing. He was at E flat roughly,
and he used nines, right?
9 through 40.
40.
Yeah,
lighter on the
top
bottom strings.
Yeah,
it's less bass through the amp. It's a different sound, and it was E flat. So I mean, you really have to be careful of your touch, you know. Otherwise,
very slinky.
I am,
you know, like
and I'm liking it. Like I said, I'm to do a D now. He's nice because of my strength.
But that'd be good for your hand because you don't have to hit it so hard.
And a medium pitch.
You don't have to hit it so hard. Yeah,
so
that's important.
Heavies.
That's important.
Yeah,
but I always thought mediums sounded better, even back in the day.
I agree.
But I had to use that because I had such an aggressive up and down picking this way.
But maybe you can adapt
the medium. Yeah, I am trying to adapt.
Well, maybe you can adapt. So if everything's lighter, it's all the same aggression. It's just you're not quite using the same force, but you don't have to use the same force because the strings are lighter and the pick's lighter and everything else.
Yeah.
So then it still sounds sort of the same.
No, I'm liking it. I'm liking using the medium pick because I think they sound better. They have favorite. They just sound better. And the nines, I've always thought nines sounded. They have more attack. They're good. A little. I don't know. They have a different sound, but I hate it when people say, "Oh, the bigger the better." No, fuck off. No,
I don't know.
Some of the best tones,
it's not true at all,
in rock history
or thin ass strings,
fucking little strings.
I agree.
Yep, absolutely.
And so that's bullshit on that.
Now we're going to move to the next one. Stefan S. This means a lot to me. I want to address my hugest admiration for you, and I'm indescribably glad. I'm 21 years old and coming from Central Europe. It would be my lifetime achievement to see my idol by any possibility in person. I guess he's talking about you.
Yeah. I'm not sure how to respond to that.
Well,
thank you.
I'm sure if he ever goes on and
thank you, and
playing, there's going to be some meet and greet availability options for some paid.
Europe.
It's hard for me to get back
to Europe. Yeah.
You might have to come to the States.
But it's cool that he's 21.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Because my people between 50 and 60, basically, that's my people. If somebody says, "Hey man, I'm friends with this guy and he really loves your playing," how old is he? It's gonna fall between 50 and 60. So the fact that he's 21, that's cool.
That's awesome,
and
man.
it makes me feel cool. Thank you.
Simon, what's going on? Dave Natal would be a great Tone Talk guest.
I don't know about that.
I don't know, but after what I heard out of that mix, but okay, maybe, yeah.
Matt's Tube of You. Hey Jake, love your playing, man, especially the Badlands stuff. Any chance of a reissue of? Oh, we talked about.
I think we already talked about this.
Yeah, and is there any more chance of?
Or is there more of a chance of you joining Motley Crue? Yeah. Wow. All those are really poor bets. I mean, reissuing Badlands.
Probably not going to happen. All of it.
Motley or Ozzy. Yeah. I would do a one last time thing with Ozzy, but like I said before, they wouldn't even have to pay me. I just want credit for the songs I wrote. And that's never going to happen. Motley Crue, yeah. Frank's not going to have that after all the shit I said about him. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. None of those are going to happen.
Jedak, thanks for the super chat. Hey Jake, please tell us a little bit about your work with Ann Lewis after you left Ozzy. How much of the writing did you do? It sounds like you wrote a large portion of these albums.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, she was huge in Japan.
Oh, okay.
She was maybe the first person in Japan to get heavy metal, but make it popular, kind of a pop tint.
Okay.
On metal, and she was huge. She was like a Britney Spears.
Okay.
She, as a little girl, she became did pop, and then she got a little harder rock as and she had a TV show.
Oh,
that's how big she was. She had a TV.
So
like a,
what were your involvement with?
She liked me so much when I was in Ozzy. She would end some of her TV shows with, and someday I hope to meet Jakey Lee or something like that.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
and so we did finally meet, and I played on. I don't know if I played. Maybe 2 albums. Just not the whole thing, just little bits and pieces. Definitely one, and there was one song that I wrote. Lyrics, melody, everything. It was my song. One of the few that I did everything on. Gave it to her, and she recorded. Can't remember what it was called, but it was on one of her records. And other than that, I didn't write anything else. So I don't know that. Yeah, large portion of these albums. No, I wrote one song. She recorded it. Lucy's Door, something like that, I think. Anyway,
okay,
yeah, and Anne's great. She's great.
I didn't know that. That's cool to know. Keith Wallenberg, Jake, can you talk about your influence from Tommy Bolan? Did you see him live? Love your playing and love my small box and twin sister, Dave.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Tommy Bolan was amazing.
Jakey Lee 20 would be better, but you know.
Absolutely.
If you want my 1 cent
or JL 50, you got to come up here.
Come on now,
because that'll go right with your small box nicely.
But Tommy Bolan,
50 watt,
Tommy Bolan, yeah, he's my favorite guitar player in the 70s. Huge influence. I did see him live. Trying to remember exactly. I think it was with Jeff Beck. I think they did a tour where they're sort of co-headlining.
That must have been amazing.
Yeah, this would have been like 70s, maybe late 70s. And I'm trying to. It's a long time ago. I don't remember. I know I seen him twice, and I saw Jeff Beck twice, so I might mix it up a little. Beck, I remember I saw him twice, like I said. One time he was fucking amazing. He was Jeff Beck, he was Jeff Beck. And the other time I saw him, he wasn't. It was weird. I don't know what happened, but I think he's one of those kind of players where he's on or he's fucking off. There's no middle ground. Tommy Bolan, I know the last time I saw him, it was off the teaser album, whatever it was. I was a huge fan, and I saw him, and he was so fucked up on stage. He died like a couple months after that. OD'd. He was so fucked up on stage. He still played great, but he would talk, and he was slurring, mumbling, and you could see it in his eyes. He was fucked up. And I remember the girl I knew that worked at this place where he was playing said, "You're a huge Tommy fan. Do you want to meet him?" I was like, he is so fucked up. I said, I'd rather imagine what it'd be like meeting him than to meet him
like that,
because he's so fucked up. He said, okay. And
because it's always something to remember in future endeavors,
you're then he died. And I never met him. So
that's too bad.
That was sad, but who knows?
Let's see. Next one. Scott C. Jake, what guitar do you love that people wouldn't associate with you? And Dave, USB external CD drive. Amazon.
Yeah, I know. Thanks. Yeah, I know. I'll go buy one.
Is that the
for to the CD thing? Yeah. That's exactly.
Yeah, come on, Dave.
Yeah, I know.
First part. Do you love the people? Well, I don't.
You mentioned
Okay,
the Joe
wouldn't
Pass.
associate.
Epiphone Joe Pass is a.
Oh, that's fun. I don't know if that. SGs. My favorite guitars are SGs, other than the Charvels that I make money off of.
You wouldn't associate this one for you.
Oh, this thing. Jeez.
What is that? A Harmony?
So weird.
I do like that one.
I do.
What brand is that?
It's Guild
A Guild.
S60-D. It's just so weird.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I always wanted one of the Ovation breadwinners, and this looks a little like it. If you would add that to it. Huh.
That's cool. How's the neck on it?
Well, it's not Gibson SG mid 60s.
Yeah.
Thick, a little thin, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, see, I would say SGs because I fucking love SGs. SGs and Strats. I think those are the best guitars, best guitar designs ever. But that's not weird because I did play an SG on the Shot in the Dark video. Those are my favorites. Wouldn't associate with Gretsch. I love Duosonics.
Oh, okay.
I love Gretsch guitars. You got one of everything. Gretsch guitars.
Sparkly Duojet.
Oh,
that's sparkly. Yeah. And the pickups. The pickups are really cool.
Yeah.
Fuck, even these pickup rings are cool.
I know, right?
What's up with that? Jesus.
I had to get this guitar.
Is that a stock one, Dave?
They have the arrows.
I know.
I mean, Gretsch's are just
It's a
cool.
sparkle Gretsch Duojet, Sparkle Jet. That was a limited edition.
Yeah. And I love these people.
Just that chord you just did with that thing. Just like that,
Bigsby.
totally like that thing.
You know, they're
It's got that
not,
total like.
they're not meant for.
No,
That's not what
it's,
they do. But they do.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what they're great at. Yeah.
They're cool for that.
And they sound great.
Nice neck. Yeah. No, I made it all out of tune.
That's okay. It's been sitting on the wall for a while. It might have been out of tune when I gave it to you.
Yeah. Sparkles. Gotta love sparkles.
Gotta love the champagne sparkle.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
But I would say that, yes.
Okay.
I love Gretches. Gretches are really fucking cool.
Tommy Mann. Cheers. We're coming to the end, close to the end, guys. Tommy Mann. Cheers, guys.
Yeah.
Cheers, guys. Love Tone Talk. Jake E. Lee Rips. Mad respect. What are you drinking tonight?
I'm back on the Belvini.
Belvini?
And he was trying to get me to drink.
I was doing Cascanes tequila, but I actually put it in the other room so I wouldn't drink anymore. Unlike the last show.
Yeah, you learned.
And he's pacing himself nicely.
Yes. He wanted me to join him with the tequila.
But we're afraid what he was going to say.
Yeah, I get funky fucked up on tequila. And who knows what would have happened.
That'll happen tomorrow. No.
James Young. Jake, I understand you like to play loud. Do you have any permanent tinnitus? Thank you for your musical contributions from Ozzy and Ann Lewis.
I do have a little, not like.
You don't have much hearing issues, though,
no,
do you?
no, I don't think I do.
No, because
but
I notice right away when I talk to people that do, but I've never felt that you didn't hear me.
I don't. Yeah, it's not that if it's dead quiet, I have a ringing.
Yeah,
I can hear.
I
that.
do too in one ear.
Yeah. Other than that, no, not really any hearing issues. But yeah, some form of tinnitus.
Yeah, but not that bad.
Yeah.
And do you wear when you play in when you were like touring before? Did you wear any?
No.
Okay.
What? Look at me. Do I look like a pussy? No.
Oh, that's what I was thinking.
No. Although I understand.
It's interesting. It's interesting though. I find that some people have a lot of issues with damage from loud things, and I got to think that you played only loud your entire life, and you don't have issues. Steve Stevens has no issues too. He played loud his entire life. He doesn't seem to have any hearing issues whatsoever.
Certain people,
and it doesn't. No, I just think it's just some people are,
Yeah,
some people.
And who know? I don't know if Warren used the top cabinets.
No, Warren told me that it's hereditary because his whole family's deaf.
Because they were rich to begin with. So
well, I mean,
there's some kind of
like there's some sort of yeah, maybe.
That whole was it Mars candy bars or whatever?
I don't know what I don't actually know this total story on that.
But yeah, so they were born rich, so they need something to happen to them. Yeah,
he said his whole family's yelling at each other at the table.
That would be a fun party to go to.
Maybe not.
Well,
did you ever watch the Bear? Did you watch that on FX?
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay. So you need to.
Yeah.
First off, and all I'm going to say is the family Christmas scene.
Yeah.
You need to watch it at least to find that.
Yeah.
Or at least watch that. You need to watch it to find that because that's what
Christmas dinner. Okay.
It's like a flashback to when he was a little bit younger and his crazy mom, and it's this chaotic Christmas dinner. It literally gives you anxiety to watch. Actually, the whole show gives you anxiety.
Yeah.
But it's a great show. You'll like that. You'll like that show.
Yeah, I need to check it.
You'll like that show.
And then he said, "Thank you for your musical contributions from Ozzy to Ann Lewis." So.
Nothing after. I mean, what the hell?
Fuck Red Dragon Cartel, man.
That was 30 years ago.
Franklin Weston, hello from your buddies in Yoho. How are you feeling? Do you have anything in the works?
Frank, I know Frank. How are you feeling? Do you have anything in the works? Yeah, cool. No, I know Frank, so I can be real short with him.
Cool. No.
Yeah.
Aaron, Jake, love your playing on the song Ultimate Sin. Are you repeatedly picking a harmonic under the bridge before Ozzy sings "It Was the Ultimate Sin"?
Harmonic. Under the what does that mean? Under the bridge.
Under the bridge.
And
under the bridge. Because it's a Charvel Strat. Under
No, I don't think he's talking about the bridge. Maybe he's talking the bridge.
I think he's saying the bridge of the song.
Yeah. Okay.
Picking a harmonic.
Under
the bridge of the song. I don't know what the bridge of the song is. I don't.
Oh, it would be the bump. Oh, I know what he's talking about. No, I'm not picking a harmonic. I'm holding a note. It's the what is it? It's a B flat to C. Dun 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 dun.
I'm trying to remember the song in my
head. The bridge, bridge of the song. It's the B flat to the C. No, I'm in a room with EVLs and 100 watt turned up, and it's feedback. There
you go. It's feedback. There might be a little octavey thing going on in there for the feedback.
Like a harmonic.
Yeah.
And
it's called.
And every one,
loud amps.
I add another. I think so. I understand what he's saying. Thank you for noticing. Yeah, I do. First, I did just do the root, and then next one I do the root and add another. So it's all orchestral. I was going for an orchestral thing, but yes, thanks for noticing that.
That's cool. Nick Buklavis, I don't see your question, man.
Thanks for your $20.
Thank you for the super chat.
I don't get any of this though. Who gets this money?
YouTube and us.
YouTube gets some of it.
YouTube gets 30%, and then we get it.
I get nothing. Well, you guys are like the record company.
You're gonna get.
All right, you get 1%.
1%. There you go.
Yeah. Hey, they're nothing.
I'm just kidding.
You know how much work it is to do these shows, by the way?
You're kidding about me getting 1%?
Yeah. No. You're not the only guest
I
we
just
had.
want the 1 penny. If somebody ups from 19.99 to 20, I want that penny.
You got it, man. It's all on. Timothy Pierce. Hello, David and Mark and Jake. Both shows are epic. I haven't been on due to my wife's health. I hope she's okay. Jake, always a fan. Are you working on any new music? He said he will be, and he said he's written some stuff. David, I'm selling my JJ Jr. for mods. Gel 20 soon. Rest in peace, EVH.
There you go.
David, I'm sending my JJ.
He's sending his JJ Jr.
Oh, sending the JJ Jr. for
I thought he said selling.
To modify his JJ Jr. to something, and then he's going to get a Gel 20 soon. Okay, great.
Awesome. And hope your wife feels better, man.
Yeah.
All right, we are at the last super chat question here.
Really?
Yeah.
I think you should let me scroll through those, and I'll pick the last one. How's that?
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, no, are we at the last super chat question?
We're at the last super chat, but if he wants to go into the regular chat and pick somebody. But Jake, how much music theory do you have? Do you have musical theory? And do you apply to your music guitar playing, or have you created your own theory over the years?
First off, it's pronounced theory. And I started playing on piano when I was 6. Classically trained. I went to a college for college level music theory when I was 12. So I know music theory. And have I created my own theory? Here's what I do know. And this is something I did want to address. Some guitar player, I'm not going to name names because mainly I don't remember who, but he said to practice bending notes with a tuner so you always get the note in tune. No. And it's a guitar player who I respect. But no. You don't have to be in fucking tune. That is not music. Bend the note to where it sounds good to you. And it goes back to where, don't want to get too technical here, but A flat and G sharp didn't used to be the same note. Way back in the day. A G sharp was named a G sharp because it was that note, and an A flat was another note. Two different notes. Look it up. Google it. Then, to make things easier, we came up with the tempered scale, where they made, A flat, G sharp. Let's make that the same note. Makes things easier. Yes, it made things easier. In my mind, there is still a G sharp, A flat, and they're two different notes. If you look at Indian music, how many? I don't even know how many. They don't have a 12 note system. It's much larger because there are notes in between. There's what do you call them? Micro notes, whatever. No, you don't have to be in fucking tune. I hate that shit. I hate it when I'm in a studio. Okay, yeah, it was a good take. Tune up. Let's do another one. Why do I need tune up? It sounded great. Sounds good to me now. Billy Gibbons, early, he used to detune, or the producer did, I think, for the early ZZ Top.
Uh-huh.
The producer, he would, okay, that's a good take. And then he would kind of detune the guitar slightly, different notes, and then double it, which made it bigger.
Oh, that makes sense, sure.
Which made it bigger.
Sure.
So you don't have to be motherfucking tuned perfectly. I hate. I'm going on to a rant.
All right, here's the rant. So this was something that was brought up a long time ago to me. So in the old days, you had a band playing in the studio, and maybe they tuned to a tuning fork, right?
Yeah.
And the whole band roughly tuned to a tuning fork, right? 70s or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tuned roughly to that, and everyone tuned to each other then. And so nothing was exactly in tune, not perfectly in tune.
Yeah.
So everything was out of tune. So they recorded this stuff that's perfect, slightly flammy.
And that's kind of magic.
And then the vocal. Okay, so if you think of the tuning, the vocal had a wide path because nothing is exactly in tune.
Okay.
If everything's perfectly in tune, the path is this narrow.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. And the vocal has to sing
sense.
in tune across this narrow path. If it's like this wide, well, there's a little give on there.
That makes sense.
And then everything is, and all those records were, it's just like everyone, wait, give me an E. Okay, tune to each other. Everyone tunes to each other.
Not tuned to
and even Van Halen even was not like, those records aren't exactly.
No, definitely not.
They're like, what was the guitar in tune at that moment, and then the bass player tuned to the guitar player, and then it sounds
good. And let me continue my rant as shit doesn't have to be fucking in tune.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. It sounds, you know what, and the whole auto tune thing.
Oh, that's another stuff.
God. And I understand there is a you can use that as a tool. That whole series on on Apple, I think, with the producer
Rick Rubin?
No. He's a guitar player. He's worked with Gaga and Winehouse. Can't think. Ronson. Mark Ronson?
Oh, yeah.
Ronson?
I think so. Yeah.
Have you seen that? He did a series on, I think, Apple. It might have been Disney, but I think it was Apple, where he explores distortion and then reverb.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking awesome series. Where was it going with this? Tuning. Fuck you. He did one of his episodes on auto-tune, and it made me appreciate it a little more, because if it's used as a tool and not as a fixer, as a tool, like Charlie, certain numerals, X, whatever, she uses it as a tool, as kind of like a pedal. And I see that where you can use it like use it as a tool,
right?
But tuning, the whole obsession with tuning, I guarantee you, I haven't done it. Somebody should do it. Janis Joplin. What's the song? It's a cappella. Lord, won't you buy me Mercedes-Benz?
Yeah, Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah. I guarantee you download that, put it in auto-tune, where it fixes everything to the notes that it should be, and it's going to sound like shit, because it's those micro notes. It's her, oh Lord, how she doesn't quite hit the note is what makes it fucking beautiful. And the first Led Zeppelin album, Robert Plant, he's a little flat a lot of times. And it gives it that aggression. It gives it that edge. If he sang it right on key, it wouldn't have worked.
The same thing with timing too. Like so, guitar players timing or something. So I was kind of noticing that. So last time recently I saw Billy Gibbons, and I'm like listening to it, and it's like almost uncomfortably behind. I'm not saying totally uncomfortable, but like once you got used to it, you're like, oh, but it was cool.
Yeah, that's cool. My other part of the rant.
But I was also thinking
tuning and timing.
Mick Mars timing too.
Yeah,
he tends to play a little behind, but it makes it feel
gives it a swing,
like a thing to it.
Yeah,
and that's an interesting. It's an interesting thing to go down. Like it's like, you know, some players play on top or play slightly ahead, and it always sounds bad that way to me.
I think
it'll be a little
the death of music will be making sure everything is in tune and everything is in time.
Oh, that's already happening.
Everything's
already happened.
And I think that will be the death of music.
Yeah.
And I think if there's like a new Jimi Hendrix, a new whatever, a new Led Zeppelin, it will be somebody who doesn't give a fuck about wasn't in tune there, or the timing. You listen to like a whole shitload of 60 songs, because I remember I had to learn them to play in cover bands.
Yeah.
So you start it and I go back to the front of the song and I'm like, oh shit, it's a lot slower. Because they would speed up during the song because it felt right. It felt right and it added everything to the song. I hate that now everything is, here you go. Play to that. Even classical music wasn't really like that. They would suggest tempos, but it would slow down and speed up.
Yeah.
And I think the new, and I hope I'm still alive when it happens. I think that next big thing in music will be fuck you timing, fuck you tuning. I have all these little fucking notes in between that one, and I can speed up and slow down whenever I want. I think that will be the thing that makes music just explode again, because now it's become very manufactured, very clinical, very. I don't like it. I don't like it.
Yep.
I don't like it.
Absolutely. Well,
that seems like a good place to stop, right?
Yeah.
That's a good place to stop.
And we have one for Jake. So you got $20, $20.01 right there.
What?
Boomer.
Oh, they added a cent to that one. He went over a cent. Thank you.
Fucking awesome.
Thank you. And we're going to end on that note.
Yes. Jake, thank you so much for coming on, man. You're fucking awesome.
It's fun.
It's fun, right?
Thanks so much, man.
Now I need to call Warren. We're probably going to go. Maybe
we're going to go try to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go eat something.
I invite Warren.
Yeah, sure. If he can make it. Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
All right. Well, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you hit subscribe. Jake, always a pleasure to talk with you, man. It's been.
I like doing this. It's fun.
Yeah, I'm really glad. Maybe we'll have a part 3. So
part 3.
You never know.
You never know.
It'll be 5 years.
I don't think I talked as much shit this episode. So I did talk some though, right?
No, you did.
I did
you got some good stories.
Oh, this is cool.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Well, everybody, thank you so much. Have a great night, and
my forehead been that shiny the whole night.
Yeah, maybe. It's the light. It's just like I had to move my light away.
That'll be the clickbait. Jake, shiny forehead.
Yeah, you look good, man. All right, guys, have a great night.
See ya.
Thank you, everybody.